Aaftab used to met out at Shraddha. Now this letter, from the time it has revealed, has once again brought some twists and turns in this case, which has already seen a lot of change of events. In this case now, Delhi police may now get a very vital evidence of how this murder, which was committed by Aaftab, may be pre-planned, it may have been plotted. Mind you, this also is important because Aaftab in the court of law has already stated that it all happened, this entire act happened in the heat of the moment. It is also important to state over here that Aaftab, the kind of shrewd attitude which he has had in this entire case was again displayed in the court of law when he did not categorically confess to his crime but did mention that it all happened in the heat of the moment. So now this letter which the Delhi police has been able to get through the inquiry report given to it by the Mumbai police may prove to be a nail in the coffin for Aaftab as far as the murder of Shraddha Walkar is concerned, and then gruesomely chopping her body into 35 pieces. Yes, back to you in the studio.
Right, Piyush, do stay with us. Let's also bring in Madhurima, who's reporting from the FSL hospital, I think. Madhurima, give us a sense of what's happening around you over there. We were told earlier that perhaps he could undergo a polygraph test today.
Well, yes, absolutely, Nupur. Aaftab is here at the FSL from where I am reporting. This is the laboratory here just adjacent to the Rohini court in the national capital, and he has been brought in here. Let me also throw in some light onto how this entire polygraph test will take place, because according to the top sources of the Delhi police, the polygraph test is imperative and needs to be done as soon as possible so that the Delhi police officials could move for narco. So for polygraph test, he will be made to sit in a secluded room with a team of around 4 to 5 people, of which multiple of them will be monitoring the mapping of his heartbeat. Electrodes will be, the electrodes will be used and they will be stick on his body parts from where the mapping of the heartbeat will be done. Blood pressure machines will be put in place so as to make sure that the entire procedure goes on without a hitch. And also at the same time, he'll be made to sit on a recliner chair. First, he'll be asked to do some breathing exercises, and after that, when his heartbeat calms down and is at a regular pace, the questioning will start. The primary question will be like, what is your name, and then so on. This entire test could go on from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours, not more than that, as it was suggested by the FSL experts, because there is a duration to which the heartbeat could be mapped of a person to determine if they are telling the truth or not. So it's a very elongated procedure. It was supposed to be done yesterday, but Aaftab had reported a fever, following which this was delayed, and the polygraph test will take place today here. And the preparations are all underway. We'll have to wait and watch as to what really comes out of this test. Back to you.
Oh yes, absolutely. So Madhurima as well as Piyush, both of you joining us from New Delhi. Thank you very much. Madhurima, of course, is reporting from the Forensic Science Laboratory in New Delhi, where this test is likely to be conducted, and Piyush also bringing us the latest. Well, news just coming in, we are learning that actor Richa Chadha has apologized for her tweet. Do remember that Richa Chadha did face a lot of anger over her tweet, which was intended at the Indian Army. Richa Chadha was reacting to a comment that was made by the Northern Army commander that Indian armed forces are capable enough of taking POK and await the government's orders on that. Richa Chadha had then tweeted about Galwan, saying, hi, Galwan, do you remember that? And that, of course, had hurt the sentiments not just of serving as well as retired army officials, but of all others as well. So now she's been forced to apologize, is what we are given to understand. We still don't know what she said. We're going to try and get that for our viewers in just a bit. But Richa Chadha being forced to apologize over there. Do remember that there was quite a bit of anger that politicians as well as retired army officers had made public over Richa Chadha's tweet. So Richa Chadha over there being forced to apologize. But the apology hasn't come immediately. Do remember that first she put in that tweet. Thereafter, of course, she justified it. And now we are given to understand that she has apologized. Let's go across to Samiksha. She has more details on this. Samiksha, tell us what has she said now?
Right, Nupur. So finally, we are seeing hours after that massive outrage we are seeing on social media and across the board, Richa Chadha finally being forced to apologize. So this is a statement that's been released by her where she says, even though it can never be my intention in the least, if the three words which are being dragged into a controversy have offended or hurt anyone, I apologize, and also say that it would sadden me if even unintentionally my words have triggered this feeling in my brothers in the forge, of which my own Nanaji had been an illustrious part. As a Lieutenant Colonel, he took a bullet in the leg in the Indo-China War in 1960s. My Mamaji was a paratrooper. It's in my blood. A whole family is affected when it is their son who's martyred or even injured while saving the nation, which is made up of people like us. And I personally know how it feels. It is an emotive issue for me. So Richa Chadha finally being forced to apologize, but just look at if try to read between the lines, it is clearly obvious that she's been forced to read it and she's forced to put out that apology. Not a word. In fact, just a few hours ago, she'd also put out some of those tweets where she tried to brazen it out that remarks that she had made on the Galwan clash, saying, in fact, ridiculing the Indian Army. But now we are seeing this apology coming in, looks very half-hearted and very much looks like a forced controversy, Nupur.
Oh yes, absolutely. And if we can just play out the earlier tweets as well, Samiksha, where she did not want to apologize. She said that this was her own opinion. Now, of course, going on to say that her entire family comes from the forces. That obviously, ideally, should have stopped her from making that tweet, but that did not happen. If we can ask Samiksha to go back to the earlier tweet, in which she had actually, continued to stand by her. Just to give our viewers a sense of what's happened so far, as we pull out that earlier tweet, do remember she had tweeted saying, Galwan says hi. Now, this was in response to the Northern Army Commander, Lieutenant General Dwivedi, essentially saying that the Indian Army is prepared to take back POK and is capable of doing it, just awaits the instructions of the government. Thereafter, of course, she had tweeted saying, Galwan says hi. Just to tell our viewers that in Galwan, 20 of our brave army men had been martyred. They lost their lives in the clash that took place over there. Pictures on your screen, in fact, are undated, and we are trying to tell you how difficult it is to fight a battle in Galwan. These are icy heights, and the Indian Army showed bravery that hasn't been the kind of bravery that we expect from our forces as they defended those icy heights. Obviously, Richa Chadha failed to acknowledge the sacrifice that the Indian Army makes each day to protect our borders, came out with that tweet which many would call frivolous, unthoughtful. Now she's, of course, apologized, going on to say that she does respect the forces. In fact, going on then to say that I have my family in the army as well. To many people who would be watching, it would be questionable in the sense that if you know how difficult a time the forces have saving our country, defending our borders, why would you say something that is so insensitive? Samiksha, did you pull out that tweet? Samiksha, take us through that. What is it that she said earlier? Now, of course, forced to take her words back.
Absolutely, Nupur. First look at the kind of tweet that she'd put out trying to ridicule our army forces. Then she tried to justify it, and hours later when she saw that it is not helping, there was a complaint also. In fact, there is a complaint that's been filed against her. She's finally been forced to apologize. Just trying to read that statement that has been put out by Richa Chadha once again, where she says, even though it can never be my intention in the least, if the three words which are being dragged into a controversy. So she's clearly saying that her statements have been blown out of proportion. Then she goes on to say that if my three words have offended or hurt anyone, I apologize, and also say that it would sadden me if unintentionally my words have triggered this feeling. And here she says clearly unintentional. From the face of it, it is very evident that this was intended to ridicule and trying to trivialize the sacrifice of our martyred Jawans. She goes on to say that it saddens me even if unintentionally my words have triggered this feeling in my brothers in the forge, of which my own Nanaji has been an illustrious part. As a Lieutenant Colonel, he took a bullet in the leg. In the Indochina War in the 1960s, my Mamaji was a paratrooper. It's in my blood. Now, even though she's giving these examples, saying how her whole family has worked in the army, look how ridiculous it is that even as her own family has served in the army, she went on to make such statements, trying to bring down the Indian army and the sacrifice of our martyred Jawans.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now, Samiksha, we are also hearing perhaps that there was a complaint that has been filed against her, and that is how, it's come to this apology, because earlier in the morning we were reporting that she's continued to justify her statement.
Well, that's right, Nupur. We'll try and go across and connect with Alisha as well, because we understand that a complaint has been filed against her, yet to get more details on that. But yes, it is very much evident that there is a growing outrage, not just on social media, but several political leaders, including the like of Maharashtra BJP leaders, who've demanded action against the actor. They've also said that the centre must take up this issue and even demanded an FIR be registered against her. Alisha will be getting us those details, but for now, this is a forced apology coming in. First making that statement, trying to ridicule the Indian army, then going on to justify it, and finally being forced to apologize when she realized that not any of this is not really helping.
Right, of course, she was also facing the wrath of netizens on social media for her Galwan tweet. I think we're going to try and play out that tweet a little bit later, but essentially the sequence of events as it happened was the fact that the Northern Army commander made a statement about the fact that the Indian armed forces are capable of taking back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. I'm going to go back to Samiksha on that one. Samiksha, if you can, for our viewers, detail the entire sequence of events that actually took place and how Richard Chadha had... All right, I'm going to come back to you, Samiksha, in a bit, but Ashok Pandit with us on the phone line. Mr. Pandit, good afternoon. Richard Chadha finally being forced to apologize. But the fact of the matter is that, this is looking quite forced, because we're given to understand that there was a complaint against her. She first justified her tweet, and now she has gone and apologized, saying that she does come from an army background and it wasn't meant to hurt sentiments. Now, how is a statement like Galban says hi not meant to hurt sentiments?
Well, I am also filing a police complaint against her in another hour's time at the Juhu police station. I'm just trying to inform you. See, her mama, her nana must have done great services for the nation. I don't deny that. But the tweet of hers was a well-thought tweet to use and to mock our brave soldiers. She cannot get away by abusing our soldiers who protect her. More than that, when you see the visuals of dead bodies of the soldiers coming to their homes, it's an insult to their families who have sacrificed their breadwinner of the house, who was one of the strongest person of the family. So it is an insult to the families of the soldiers, to the country at large. I will not even deny. I think this is more than an act of terrorism. This is more an act against the nation. This is more an act against the country. You have ridiculed, abused our security forces with that one silly tweet of yours for no rhyme or reason. In fact, she should have tweeted, "The country is with you to win POK." But the problem with this urban Naxals and the Tukre gang is that these people are the sleeper cells in this country who work for the enemies of the country.
Mr. Pandit,
Modi has made them hate against the country. She should be arrested. An FIR should be filed against her so that nobody else tries to do that in our country. No country in the world, takes this kind of a nonsense from anybody, for that matter. And I also appeal the film industry. I also appeal the entertainment industry to come forward today and condemn this statement of hers. Otherwise, then, hate against the industry, opinions against the industry by most of the people in the country justifies it.
Right. Mr. Pandit, we just wanted a confirmation from you that you're going to be filing a complaint. You just did say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing that in another 1 hour's time. I'm filing a police complaint at Juhu police station. And I'm going to send a copy to the CP also and to the CM also. I think, what happens is somebody abuses and accuses our forces, and then after a day, things are forgotten. So I want to put on record, I as a citizen of this country, I as a nationalist, somebody who loves the country, has a right to complain against her and see to it that such people who are anti-nationals should be punished and brought to books.
Right. Right. Mr. Pandit, appreciate your speaking to us on Republic TV. Thank you very much for joining us. So Ashok Pandit over there saying that he will be filing a police complaint against a tweet by actor Richa Chadha, who's now being forced to apologize.
केजरीवाल जी ने इस बार हिंदू कार्ड प्ले करने की कोशिश की।
कोई किसी भी कार्ड को प्ले करे, भारत की जनता और विशेषकर गुजरात की जनता इतनी भोली भाली नहीं है कि एक दो टोचकों से या एक दो स्टेटमेंट से किसी और बह जाए। अरे भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी तक हमने कहा था कि हम 370 धारा को जब भी हमें मौका मिलेगा हटाएंगे। एक देश में दो निशान, दो प्रधान, दो विधान नहीं चल सकते और हमने हटाकर दिखाया।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की बात आपने जो उठाई, 3 राज्यों में क्यों, राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर क्यों नहीं?
हमने कहा था कि हम इस देश में कॉमन सिविल कोड की पैरवी करेंगे और अगर हम पावर में आते हैं तो इसको लाएंगे। 1950 में कहा था और आज कॉमन सिविल कोड के लिए भारत के 3 राज्यों ने इनिशिएटिव लिया है। एक चर्चा बहस छिड़ी है, कुछ ही समय में 3 राज्यों में कॉमन सिविल कोड आपको दिखाई पड़ेगा।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed, the jailed minister Satyendra Jain in these pictures given food of his choice. In the application he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal
Tracking the big story this hour, actor Richa Chadha, who's finally been forced to apologize after she ridiculed the Indian Army and trivialized the sacrifice of our Jawans in the Galwan clash in which 20 of our Jawans lost their lives. In fact, just to read out that statement that has been put out by Richa Chadha, where she says, even though it may never be my intention in the least if the 3 words which are being dragged into a controversy have offended or hurt anyone, I apologize and also say that it would sadden me if unintentionally my words have triggered this feeling in my brothers in the forge, of which my own family has been an illustrious part. So Richa Chadha there saying that her statements have been blown out of proportion and that she had no intention to run down the Indian Army and ridicule and mock the sacrifice of the Galwan soldiers, but the statement looks very much a forced apology that has come in from the actor. Remember, actor, in fact, Ashok Pandit, while speaking to the public, said that he will be getting a complaint filed against actor Richa Chadha for mocking the Galwan martyrs in which 20 of our Jawans lost their lives, and statements now coming in after that massive backlash and outrage that we are seeing against the actor. And let's play out a reaction as well coming in from Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi on the actor's remarks.
As far as the Indian Army is concerned, Indian Army will carry out any order which is being given by the Government of India. And whenever such orders are given, we'll always be ready for it. As far as the Indian Army is concerned, Indian Army will carry out any order which is being given by the Government of India. And whenever such orders are given, we'll always be ready for it. So there you heard, these were the remarks that were made by the army, by
The Northern Army commander who said that the army is prepared to take back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir if the government issues an order, to which Richard Chadda had tweeted and in fact had mocked the sacrifice of our Jawans. And that's the tweet also on your screens right now, the tweet that had been put out by Richard Chadda, following which she tried to justify the tweet that she had put out, and now finally having been forced to apologize for those remarks after the boycott call that is being seen against the actor. She's been finally forced to apologize for her remarks. A lot of reactions also coming in, where political leaders across the board have condemned the remarks that have come in from actor Richard Chadda, following which the actor is finally forced to apologize. She's taken to her social media accounts on Instagram and Twitter to apologize for these remarks that she's made, saying that she's been, what she means by this statement is that her statements seem to have been blown out of proportion and that she had no intention to disrespect the Indian Army. In fact, just to read out that statement that has been put out by actor Richard Chadda, where she says that even though it can never be my intention in the least, if the three words which are being dragged into a controversy have offended or hurt anyone, I apologize, and also say that it would sadden me if even intentionally my remarks have triggered this feeling in my brothers in the forge, of which my own Nanaji has been an illustrious part. And there were a host of reactions that came in just before Richard Chadda issued an apology. Let's listen into some of those reactions that came in. And before we play out that reaction, we have Manjinder Singh Sirsa also joining us. Sir, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking to us. If I can get your quick response. It seems that Richard Chadda has finally been forced to apologize after she went on to justify the remarks that she'd made earlier.
Very true. This is the strength of the people of this nation. वही रिचा चड्डा जो थोड़ी देर पहले गलवान के लिए मजाक उड़ा रही थी, अब उसको सारे अपने वो रिश्तेदार याद आ गए जो आर्मी में हैं। हम उनका सबका सम्मान करते हैं, उनके परिवार के लोगों ने आर्मी में रहकर देश की सेवा की, लेकिन किसी को ये अधिकार नहीं है कि अगर उसके परिवार के लोगों ने देश की सेवा की है तो उसी आर्मी का वो मजाक उड़ाए, भारत की इस गौरवमयी इतिहास को छोटा दिखाने की कोशिश करे और खास तौर पे गलवान में हुए हमारे महान शहीदों को ऐसी बात कहकर उनका भी मजाक उड़ाए और उनको उनकी तौहीन करे। मुझे इस बात की बहुत तसल्ली है कि कम से कम देश के लोगों ने आज रिचा चड्डा को मजबूर किया, हालांकि वो थर्ड रेटेड एक स्टार है किसी का, उसको सिर्फ ये कंट्रोवर्सी क्रिएट करनी थी अपने आप को टीवी में लाने के लिए। लेकिन मुझे इस बात की खुशी है कि आप लोगों ने जिस तरीके से इस चीज को चलाया और पूरे देश को संदेश दिया कि जब आर्मी की बात आती है तो हम देश के लोग एकजुट हैं, चाहे वो कोई भी सामने ना हो। तो लेकिन अब रिचा चड्डा को पूरे देश के अंदर जितने भी उसके लोग आर्मी में आज तक रिश्तेदारी में किया, सब याद आ गए। ये याद क्यों आए कि भारत के लोग जो हैं वो आर्मी के खिलाफ कुछ नहीं सुनते। जब उसको ये समझ में आया तो वो मजबूर हुई अपनी माफी मांगने। उसने माफी मांगी नहीं है, देश के लोगों ने उससे माफी मंगवाई है।
Sir, even though it looks from the face of it that this publicity stunt seems to have backfired for her, there's not a word that has come in from any of the Bollywood actors, condemning these remarks that were made by actor Richard Chadda.
See, these Bollywoods are hypocrites. ये hypocrisy में जीते हैं, ये एक फेक लाइफ में जीते हैं। ये केवल और केवल पर्दे के ऊपर आके आर्मी और देशभक्ति की बात करते हैं। इनको पैसे के साथ सारी देशभक्ति याद आती है और पैसे अगर नहीं मिलते तो देशभक्ति को भूल जाती है। तो हमने कभी भी नहीं देखा कि जब देश की बात आई हो तो बॉलीवुड सामने खड़ा हो। हाँ, बॉलीवुड में आमिर खान जैसे लोग तब जरूर बोलेंगे जब उनको ये कहना होगा हमें इस देश में रहते हुए खतरा महसूस हो रहा है, हम बच्चों के हमारे सुरक्षित नहीं महसूस करते। ये बोलने के लिए तो आ सकते हैं टीवी चैनल पर, लेकिन यह बोलने के लिए कि हमारी इस आर्मी के खिलाफ किसी ने बोलने की जरूरत कैसे की और हम बॉलीवुड ऐसे लोगों को बाइकआउट करते हैं, ये कहने की उनमें हिम्मत नहीं है कि उनका सारा कुछ बिकाऊ है, पैसे के साथ जुड़ा हुआ, इससे ज्यादा उनकी सोच नहीं है। हाँ, अगर पैसे कहीं से मिल जाए चाहे किसी और मुल्क से भी मिल जाए, उसके प्रति उनकी वफादारी खड़ी हो जाएगी, लेकिन सही मायनों में देश के प्रति उनकी कोई वफादारी नहीं। हम लोगों को समझना चाहिए, जो लोग उनको अपना आदर्श मानते हैं, उनको अपने स्टार मानते हैं, उनको समझना चाहिए वो स्टार नहीं है, बिकाऊ लोग हैं जो कुछ चंद पैसों के टुकड़ों के लिए अपने किरदार को बेचते हैं और अलग अलग तरह की नौटंकी करते हैं जरूरत पड़ने पर।
जी Well, thank you, Manjinder Singh Sirsa there, giving his reaction, saying that these remarks are absolutely obnoxious, frivolous to say the least. The actor who's finally been forced to apologize after that boycott call that she's facing from across the board. In fact, the filmmaker Ashok Pandit also, while speaking to Republic, said that he will be getting an FIR registered against the actor for making such remarks. Well, let's listen into some of the more reactions that have been coming in since early morning on these remarks that were made by the actor.
फिल्म जगत की अभिनेत्री सुर्खियों में आने के लिए, ओछी पब्लिसिटी पाने के लिए क्या वो हमारे फौजी भाइयों का अपमान करेगी? इन्हें हो क्या गया है जो हमारे जवान अपने परिवार को, बच्चों को, माता पिता को छोड़कर दिन रात देश की सीमा पर खड़े हैं, हमारी रक्षा कर रहे हैं, समय आने पर अपनी जान की शहादत देश के लिए दे देते हैं। उनका तो मस्तक झुका करके उनका सम्मान होना चाहिए। एयर कंडीशन बंगले में बैठकर इस प्रकार की घिनौनी मानसिकता रखने वाली यह अभिनेत्री क्या समझेगी उनका समर्पण? सारा देश चाहता है कि वे हाथ जोड़कर हमारे देश के जवानों की माफी मांगे।
बॉलीवुड फिल्मों की कोई एक्ट्रेस है ऋचा चड्ढा, हम तो ज़्यादा जानते नहीं। मालूम पड़ा है कि हमारे सेना के बड़े अधिकारी ने एक ट्वीट किया कि पीओके हमारे भारत का अभिन्न हिस्सा है, हम उसे लेकर ही रहेंगे, ज़रूरत पड़ी तो कठोर कदम उठाएंगे, कड़ी कार्रवाई करेंगे पाकिस्तान पर, लेकिन पीओके लेकर रहेंगे। उस पर यह महिला कहती हैं कि गलवान सेज हाय, तंज कस रही हैं गलवान को लेकर। अरे तुम क्या जानती हो गलवान के बारे में? एक एक इंच जमीन के लिए हमारे देश के जवान शहीद हो गए और आप ऐसी भाषा का उपयोग कर रही हैं कि गलवान सेज हाय। मैं मांग करता हूं महाराष्ट्र के उप मुख्यमंत्री और गृह मंत्री श्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी से कि ऐसी महिला पर, ऐसे कलाकार पर तुरंत कार्रवाई करें।
All right, getting in another news break right now, this one from Pakistan, where the Pak government has chosen new army chief. It's Lieutenant General Sahir Shamshad Mirza, who's been appointed as the new army chief. So the Pak government there asserting hold over the Pakistan army as the new Pakistan army chief has been appointed. It's Lieutenant General Sahir Shahmad Mirza as the country's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Lieutenant General Saeed Asim Munir as the chief of the army staff. So Lieutenant General Saeed Asim Munir, who has been appointed as the chief of the army staff, and there with this the government of Pakistan asserting its hold over the Pak army. So the news break coming in this hour, and that's the still on your screens as well, of the new army chief who has been appointed by the Pak government. The Pak government, they're picking Lieutenant General Munir as the army chief. So Lieutenant General Saeed Asim Munir, who has been appointed as the chief of the army staff in Pakistan. With this, the Pakistan government asserting hold over the Pakistan army. And we'll try and connect we'll try and connect and get some political reactions, some perspective on this as well. But the update coming in this hour that Pakistan government has chosen the new army chief, and the new army chief is Saeed Munir, who is a successor of General Bajwa. Remember, the appointment has been quite controversial, as former Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that the new army chief should only be named after the country holds snap elections, and which is why it's quite controversial. So after those remarks that were made by Imran Khan earlier, the newsbreak coming in this hour that Saeed Munir has been appointed as the Pakistan army chief. So it's Lieutenant General Munir who's been appointed as the new army chief. With this, the Pakistan government has asserted hold over Pakistan army. Major Gaurav Arya is also joining us right now. Major, good afternoon. If I can get your first reaction to the new army chief in Pakistan.
No, I believe General Munir has been appointed as army chief. And, what a circus. What a circus Pakistan is. I mean, for the appointment of the chief of army staff, the entire came to a standstill and, people are on the roads, political parties are fighting amongst each other. But I hope that puts everything to rest and people can finally, do their duty work. Imran Khan had threatened to invade Rawalpindi on the 26th, and what the government has done is got all the people and all the stakeholders together and announced the name of the army chief. Now the next step is, what will Imran Khan do on the 26th, when he has called hundreds and thousands of people to come to Rawalpindi, because Rawalpindi is where the general headquarters is.
Yes. And how do you view the political landscape really shaping now in Pakistan with the new Pakistan chief who's now been appointed?
No, there is no change in Pakistani. What General Bajwa said, that there has been a catharsis, and the Pakistani army has realized that it should politics and it should stick to its professional duties. All this is nonsense. General Bajwa was the one who was responsible for throwing out Nawaz Sharif. He was the one responsible for installing Imran Khan Niazi. He was the one responsible for throwing out Imran Khan Niazi, and he was the one responsible for making Shahbaz Sharif the prime minister. So how can he say at the fag end of his career everything? He's on his way out, and suddenly this man has found God and he has found morality, and he says the army should not interfere. You see, Pakistani landscape will remain the same that it has remained for the past 75 years. Pakistan will remain a national security state, because this is where the Pakistan army derives its power from. The only way the Pakistani army can be powerful is this, to control the internal politics of Pakistan. Otherwise, it has nothing. It has no work.
Well, absolutely, Major. So, a new puppet who's been appointed as Army Chief by the Pakistan government. We have Major General G.D. Bakshi also. Major General, good afternoon. If I can get your first thoughts on the new Army Chief that has been appointed by the Pakistan government.
I understand that it is Lieutenant General Aaftab Munir, right? And 6 names had been presented for the post of the Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Army Chief, a panel of 6 names. Lieutenant General Aaftab Munir happens to be the senior most. The others were Lieutenant General Shahid Shamshed Mirza, Lieutenant General Azhar Abbas, Nauman Mahmood, Faiz Hamid, and Muhammad Amin. These were the 6 names. So out of them, the senior most, that is Lieutenant General Aaftab Munir, has been chosen. To that extent, it does conform to the seniority principle which by and large the South Asian armies have been following. But of course, there have been major deviations. Bhutto went 10 down the line to choose Ziaul Haq, who hanged him, murdered him, etc. So did Nawaz Sharif go down, did deep selection. And, I totally agree with my very dear friend Gaurav Arya, that, General Bajwa was shedding crocodile tears the other day, and trying to say that the army is apolitical, it doesn't interfere. What a laugh. There is that phrase in the vernacular, "So chuhe kha ke Dilli Haj ko chali." That after, getting an extension of 3 years from Imran Khan Niazi, the man who was the selected Prime Minister of Pakistan, not elected. Please note that. Underline, selected Prime Minister of Pakistan. And selected by who? By the deep state, by the Pakistan Army ISI complex. And he was trying to maneuver to get Faiz Hamid, the then DG ISI, who was at the time of the Afghanistan crisis, the DG ISI, as his favorite to come there. And he is the second junior most in this whole list. And Imran Khan Niazi has been hankering for him. Now we have a very interesting situation when Niazi's march is converging on to Rawalpindi and Islamabad. For the first time, we have seen the army come under pressure from a local politician, and he's made such a big tamasha out of it that I don't think it will be very easy to bump him off now, especially after that very theatrically staged event that happened a few days back. I don't think they can do that, because had the ISI tried that earlier, they would have done it with a sniper and a headshot, and not use the machine pistol to shoot in the foot, which is what malingerers in most armies do when they don't want to serve in the combat theatre. But that is it. Pakistan is headed for a big churn. The present government was very keen to impose or to get a chief of its own choice, right? And they have tried to make it sound non-controversial. The list has been given to them by the army. They do not have the political heft to be able to, have a showdown with the army on this by playing ducks and drakes. I think they have just signed on the dotted line. And it looks to them that General Asif Munir is acceptable to them. And therefore, they have installed the chief. Imran Khan was saying that the selection of the chief is extremely important and it should not be done now, but it should be done after the elections, which he wants preponed, so that he can stage, as he thinks, a comeback. He's been banned from, holding elected office. That's another thing, but he is now using street power in a very, very major way.
Yes.
He has managed to rattle the army. There is no doubt on that score. The army is on the back foot and a bit defensive, but it is too deeply entrenched an institution in Pakistan to be swayed by any one single politician trying to create a wave in the Punjab or even in the Pakhtunkhwa. So they will ride out the storm, and unfortunately, so far in all the clashes between the army and the civilian or any civilian, we have seen the civilians come to grief. Bhutto was hanged, his daughter was assassinated, Nawaz Sharif was jailed. Now he's coming back again, then his brother is there, Shahbaz Sharif. Let's see how it plays out.
Yes.
But there are bad days ahead for Pakistan. It is sharing at the brink of an economic meltdown.
Yes.
Like
All
Sri
right.
Lanka.
Yes. Rightly put by Major General G.D. Bakshi that a new puppet that has been appointed by the Pakistan government as a new army chief. We'll slip into a very short break for now, but news breaks to continue on the other side as well. Sensational details tumble out as Mangaluru blast probe widens. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund blasts in Karnataka. And Kumaraswamy says JDS open to making a Muslim chief minister. Is it appeasement politics by the JDS?
दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
सर्कल्स में बातचीत चल रही है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर। क्या आम आदमी पार्टी एक फैक्टर है इस बार?
एरिया में जरूर है। गुजरात में जब मैं 50% से ज्यादा मत प्राप्त कर रहा हूं, तब वोट कितना और कहां बढ़ता है इसके कोई मायने नहीं रहते। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार 50% से ज्यादा वोट प्राप्त करने जा रही है।
का प्रभाव कम हो रहा है, कांग्रेस की इंपैक्ट कम हो रही है, और वो जो वैक्यूम है वो कौन उसको फिल करेंगे?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी फील कर सकती है। हर बार जनता ऑल्टरनेटिव नहीं ढूंढती है।
आप कह रहे हैं कि आपकी फाइट कांग्रेस पार्टी के साथ। कांग्रेस को प्रिंसिपल ऑपोजिशन क्यों कह रहे हैं गुजरात?
क्योंकि वो है। मैं स्पेकुलेशन के आधार पर तो नहीं कर सकता। जमीनी हकीकत में वो है।
केजरीवाल जी ने इस बार हिंदू कार्ड प्ले करने की कोशिश की।
कोई किसी भी कार्ड को प्ले करे, भारत की जनता और विशेषकर गुजरात की जनता इतनी भूली भाली नहीं है कि एक दो टोचकों से या एक दो स्टेटमेंट से किसी और बह जाए। अरे भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी तक हमने कहा था कि हम 370 धारा को जब भी हमें मौका मिलेगा हटाएंगे। एक देश में दो निशान।
Turkish strikes have left Syria completely devastated. Thick plumes of smoke were seen rising from an oil field in northeast Syria after they were targeted by Turkish airstrikes. While some civilians have been injured and a few reportedly killed, rescue operations are on in full swing. The attacks come as a part of a series of airstrikes on suspected militant targets in northern Syria and Iraq. Will Syria hold back? This massive retaliation from Turkey is believed to be the response to a recent bombing in Istanbul that Ankara blames on the Kurdish groups. Agency report for Republic TV.
कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा नो मनी नो टेरर वाली बात आपने कही, तो इस पर जितने हमारे दर्शक है और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर दर्शक है वो जानना चाहते हैं कि इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है।
जहाँ तक देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा और बाह्य सुरक्षा का सवाल है, किसी भी खतरे के लिए हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति बरकरार रहेगी और दृढ़ता के साथ आगे बढ़ेगी। और भारत सरकार की सारी एजेंसियां बड़ी मुस्तैदी के साथ भारत की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को मजबूत करने के लिए पैनी नजर रखकर सजग हैं।
ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी फ्री है। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं। और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में 1960 से प्राथमिक शिक्षा फ्री है। वोट देते वक्त सब लोग अपना माइंड भी अप्लाई करते हैं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी देखते हैं और विश्वसनीयता भी देखते हैं।
Huge number of government employees are on the street. There's a ruckus on the street. Their demand about increasing the DA. This is one of the important issues here in West Bengal.
The gruesome murder case of Shraddha. In fact, a video has now surfaced where the video is from those days when Shraddha was studying BMM. Two blasts went off near bus stops in Jerusalem, injuring at least 14 people in what police said were suspected attacks by Palestinians.
दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
सर्कल्स में बातचीत चल रही है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर। क्या आम आदमी पार्टी एक फैक्टर है इस बार?
इंडिया में जरूर है। गुजरात में जब मैं 50% से ज्यादा मत प्राप्त कर रहा हूं तब वोट कितना और कहां बढ़ता है इसके कोई मायने नहीं रहते। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार
Roundup of news from across the globe. In the backdrop of the current Russia-Ukraine crisis, UN Security Council members have appealed to Russia to stop attacking Ukraine after Moscow recently unleashed a new missile onslaught on Ukraine's battered energy grid, robbing cities of power and some of water and public transport too. Ukrainian President Zelensky has said that Russia's permanent UNSC seat was effectively empty, as no one in the world wants to hear Russia lies, having urged the body to reform the veto power. The president has further stated that Ukrainians Up to 11 regions of the country had been plunged into complete darkness.
पहले आप वीर सावरकर को लेकर कुछ भी कह सकते थे। जो लोग हिंदुत्व में विश्वास रखते हैं वो पहले से ज्यादा असर्टिव हो गए हैं।
हमारी पार्टी के विचार, हम सब के विचार, देश का इतिहास, इस सबको साइड पर रखकर उनकी दादी के भी स्टेटमेंट पढ़ लेते तो उनको मालूम पड़ता। वीर सावरकर के जीवन को आप पूरी बारीकी से देखेंगे तो हिंदू संस्कृति, भारतीय संस्कृति के लिए उनका पक्ष और एक मजबूत विचार एक डायमेंशन है।
सीट के रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल।
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूं कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूं कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
सुरक्षा के मुद्दे पर एक सवाल मेरा ये है कि जो आपने आइडियोलॉजी की बात कही और आप गृह मंत्री है देश के, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो आईसिस आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है, इसको बिल्कुल इस प्रॉब्लम को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए?
आईसिस की आइडियोलॉजी हो या जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी हो या पीएफआई पहले जो अपनी प्रवृत्तियां करता था वो हो, जिस दिन कोई भी विचार, कोई भी संगठन, कोई भी गतिविधि इस देश की इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए खतरा बनेगी, इसको हम सहन नहीं करेंगे और बहुत दृढ़ता के साथ इसको क्रश करेंगे।
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में
Viewers, we're live and breaking this a Thursday afternoon. I'm Shivangi Shukla. We will go to our top story very soon, where the actress Richa Chadha has been forced to apologize after her tweet where she mocked India's martyrs. That will be our top story. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. India's army sacrificed, mocked and insulted and justifies. As a Bollywood actor, Richa Chadha now faces boycott calls. She is forced to apologize.
रिचा चड्ढा जो कि एक बॉलीवुड की थर्ड ग्रेडेड कलाकार है, भारत की सेना को अपमानित करने का काम किया है।
Galwan, after the anger over the tweet and the Galwan insult, now back-to-back complaints filed against Richa Chadha. Sensational details emerge as Mangaluru blast probe gets bigger and bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund blasts in Karnataka. Shraddha murder probe widens killer. Aaftab's polygraph test likely today. Appeasement politics at its peak now. Kumaraswamy says JDS open to making a Muslim chief minister. Vadra Congress completely disappears in Gujarat. All Hardik allies set to dump the grand old party days ahead of the polls. Viewers, let's go straight to our top story right now. Actress and Richa Chadha has come under massive fire on social media
for insulting forces. Not only did the actor mock and insult the sacrifices of the Indian Army, but she also went ahead and justified the insult. A complaint has been filed against actor Richa Chadha. Viewers, the complaint has been filed after the Galwan insult. The tweet, viewers, which she tweeted a short while back, where she was mocking India's martyrs. After facing massive backlash for her outrageous tweet insulting the valor of the Indian Army in the Galwan clash, Richa Chadha has issued an apology, but a new complaint has been filed against Richa Chadha. Let's go ahead to my colleague Alisha from our Mumbai newsroom to help us understand the new development coming in. Alisha.
Well, yes, Shivangi, this is the letter that Republic has access, and this is a complaint letter that has been filed against Richa Chadha over her tweet that she has mocked Indian Army. And if I read out the statement that we have access, so basically this is a letter that has been complaint letter that has been given to CP Delhi Police, clearly mentioning that Richa Chadha has given this regard to the whole Indian Army led and for the sacrifice of Indian soldier who died in Galwan for the country. The statement is provocative in nature and intent to condemn public mischief and shows her disrespect for Indian Army, that the accused by making above statement is committed offence under section 126/505 of the IPC, which is cognizable and serious in nature. The complaint requests you to lodge FIR against her and take a strict legal action against her. So this is a letter that we have access, and it clearly shows that the tweet that has been put by Richa Chadha is something a disrespect.
We have got
and
that letter. Yes, the complaint against Richa Chadha on our screen. But we are also being joined, Alisha, right now, and I'm going to tell our viewers as well, we are also being joined by Vineet Jindal, the one who has in fact complained against Richa Chadha, on the phone line with us right now. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jindal. You have in fact filed that complaint, the letter all our viewers can see on their screen. What does your complaint say?
Look, the way Richa Chadha making a mockery and disrespectful comment has been done against upon our Indian Army soldiers who have sacrificed their lives in Galwan Valley to save our to save our borders. So the way she is making this kind of derogatory and defamatory statement, I filed a complaint against her with the CP Delhi Police and Cyber Cell Delhi Police for lodging an FIR against her and taken strict action for the same, and arrest also requesting issue arrest warrant against her.
And Mr. Jindal, now that Richa Chadha has in fact apologized with a statement, do you think that it was a forced apology from her?
No, it is not a matter like that. Taking a statement against someone individual, and after some time when you are think, okay, this is going bad for me, and there is a hit movement there, so you are withdrawing your statement. This is not a matter like that. This is a matter respect to our Indian Army. Every citizen who loves India respect our Indian Army. We are respect their sacrifice for us, and we are not let them down the way she is making the statement. Richa Chadha should not leave like this. Definitely, I'll making a further step for lodging an FIR and again issue someone of arrest against her. It is not. I don't think it will work for her.
Right. Okay, thank you, Vineet Jindal. The complaint, of course, has been filed by Vineet Jindal. In fact, many other people, Ashok Pandit, speaking to Republic TV, has said he will also go ahead and file a complaint against Richa Chadha for the kind of a tweet where she's mocking Indian forces, she's mocking India's martyrs. In fact, many reactions coming in on this story. Let's play them out for our viewers.
बॉलीवुड फिल्मों की कोई एक्ट्रेस है रीचा चड्ढा, हम तो ज़्यादा जानते नहीं। मालूम पड़ा है कि हमारे सेना के बड़े अधिकारी ने एक ट्वीट किया कि पीओके हमारे भारत का अभिन्न हिस्सा है, हम उसे लेकर ही रहेंगे, ज़रूरत पड़ी तो कठोर कदम उठाएंगे, कड़ी कार्रवाई करेंगे पाकिस्तान पर, लेकिन पीओके लेकर रहेंगे। उस पर यह महिला कहती हैं कि गलवान सेज हाय, तंज कस रही है गलवान को लेकर। अरे तुम क्या जानती हो गलवान के बारे में? एक एक इंच जमीन के लिए हमारे देश के जवान शहीद हो गए और आप ऐसी भाषा का उपयोग कर रही हैं? कि गलवान सेज हाय, मैं मांग करता हूं महाराष्ट्र के उप मुख्यमंत्री और गृह मंत्री श्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी से कि ऐसी महिला पर, ऐसे कलाकार पर तुरंत कार्रवाई करें। इतना जहर आप भारत के खिलाफ लाते कहां से हैं? इतनी कड़वाहट भारत के खिलाफ लाते कहां से हैं? ऐसे कलाकारों पे पाबंदी लगनी चाहिए जो देश विरोधी ट्वीट करते हो और देश के खिलाफ काम करते हो।
फिल्म जगत की अभिनेत्री सुर्खियों में आने के लिए, ओछी पब्लिसिटी पाने के लिए क्या वो हमारे फौजी भाइयों का अपमान करेगी? इन्हें हो क्या गया है जो हमारे जवान अपने परिवार को, बच्चों को, माता पिता को छोड़कर दिन रात देश की सीमा पर खड़े हैं, हमारी रक्षा कर रहे हैं, समय आने पर अपनी जान की शहादत देश के लिए दे देते हैं। उनका तो मस्तक झुका करके उनका सम्मान होना चाहिए। एयर कंडीशन बंगले में बैठकर इस प्रकार की घिनौनी मानसिकता रखने वाली यह अभिनेत्री क्या समझेगी उनका समर्पण? सारा देश चाहता है कि वे हाथ जोड़कर हमारे देश के जवानों की माफी मांगे।
India and Indians respect the army and the armed forces. And when our chief of the army says something, we respect that. It's unfortunate that someone, for posting something on the social media, decides to mock the army. Is it correct? Do they even understand the valor that was displayed at Galwan by the soldiers who gave up their life fighting for the motherland? It's unfortunate and condemnable to come out with this kind of a post.
ऋचा चड्ढा ने जिस प्रकार से नॉर्दर्न कमांड के कमांडर इन चीफ उपेंद्र द्विवेदी की बात पर कि जल्द पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर को वापस लेंगे, तो इस प्रकार की टिप्पणी करके जो गलवान पर उन्होंने की है, उनको अपने काम से मतलब रखना चाहिए। बिना किसी कारण से इस प्रकार के ट्वीट का जवाब देना बिल्कुल गलत है। माफी मांगनी चाहिए देश से। सेना सुरक्षा बल अपने आप में सक्षम है, जो भी उनको ऑर्डर मिलता है उस पर पूरी तरह से अमल करते हैं, और भारत इतना सशक्त है कि वह किसी भी तरह से पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर को वापस ले सकता है। लेकिन जिन लोगों का कुछ लेना देना नहीं, वो इस प्रकार की जब टिप्पणी करें तो गलत है। देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
ऋचा चड्ढा जो कि एक बॉलीवुड की 3rd ग्रेडेड कलाकार है और हमेशा ही भारत के खिलाफ आपत्तिजनक ट्वीट करने में वो सबसे आगे रहती हैं और कांग्रेस समर्थक है, राहुल गांधी की उपासक है। ऐसी ऋचा चड्ढा ने फिर से एक बार भारत की सेना को अपमानित करने का काम किया है। जब भारतीय सेना के उत्तरी कमांडर से ये पूछा गया कि पीओ के बारे में आपकी क्या रणनीति, और उन्होंने ये कहा कि जब भी हमें देश होगा हम पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर के ऊपर हमला कर उसको वापस अपने साथ ला सकते हैं। ऐसे में ऋचा चड्ढा उस भारतीय सेना का अपमान करे, उनको मॉक करे, ये कह के गलवान याद कराए। गलवान भी भारत का गौरवमय इतिहास है। हमारे 20 सैनिक जरूर शहीद हुए, लेकिन हमने चाइना के मुंह को मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया, और उसमें से एक सिख सैनिक ने 1 दर्जन से ज्यादा लोगों को अपने केवल खाली हाथों से मारकर खत्म करने का काम किया चाइनीज सेना का। और ऐसे में आप उनको, उन शहीदों के प्रति अपमानजनक टिप्पणियां करो, भारतीय सेना के अपमानजनक टिप्पणियां करो। मैं बॉम्बे की पुलिस से कहना चाहता हूं, मुंबई पुलिस से, तुरंत इस ऋचा चड्ढा के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करें, एप्रोप्रिएट धाराओं में मुकदमा दर्ज करें, ताकि ऐसे लोग जो भारत का अपमान करना, भारत की सेना का अपमान करना एंजॉय समझ करते हैं और अपनी शौहरत को बढ़ाने के लिए हमारी भारतीय सेना को नीचे लाने की कोशिश करते हैं, इनको मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया जा सके, ऐसी जिंदगी में दोबारा कोशिश ना कर सके।
All right, viewers. So basically, right now, many reactions coming in from leaders across political spectrum, and Alisha is joining us back. Alisha, all-out anger against Richa Chadha, not just from the leaders who just heard their sound bites, but also on social media. Alisha.
Well, yes, Shivangi, it is a comment that has been coming in, and of course, we can see that there is an anger over the people, the statement that has been made by Richa Chadha. Because We are very proud of our Indian Army, and of course we know the sacrifice that has been done by our Indian Army in Galwan. And over the statement that was given in Commander-in-Chief, another command of the Indian Army clearly mentioned that we are prepared to even get the POK. But after this, there is Richa Chadha who used her Twitter and clearly saying that Galwan says hi, which is really, she's making a mockery of an Indian Army. Now here's the anger over the people who are clearly asking to take back the statement. Of course, we know that right after the pressure that was mounted on her, she has apologized. But what is the demand that has been coming across, that there should be a police FIR that has to be registered against her, and there should be a strict action that should be registered against her, because here is a Vinay Jindal who has already registered a complaint with the police, Delhi police, who clearly mentioned that there are sections where Richa Chadha, the statement that she has made, which has committed offence under section 126-505 of the IPC, which are cognizable but serious in nature. But also we even heard the voices that has came in and clearly saying that there should also be the Mumbai police who should take cognizance over the statement that has been made by Richa Chadha. And of course we have been even seeing the social media which has been pouring in and pouring with an anger the statement that has been made by Richa Chadha.
Right. All right. Alisha, thank you for joining us with all those details. Alisha getting us top updates on the story. Bollywood actor has insulted our martyr. She has been forced to apologize. But the big question is, was a tweet in bad taste? Because that's what it seems like. All right, let's go ahead to the other story we're tracking right now. And the other big story is, of course, all the follow-ups that Republic TV itself has been doing on the Shraddha murder probe. We're getting you all the angles on the story. In fact, some exclusive details of killer Aaftab polygraph test. Sources have informed that a set of 50 questions will be posed in front of Aaftab, and the process of polygraph set is likely to be begin very, very shortly. Very, very shortly, viewers. That's what we're learning so far, viewers, that almost 50 questions. Aaftab will be asked almost 50 questions. Exclusive details only on Republic TV. Madhurima is joining us live for more. Madhurima, Aaftab's questioning will begin very, very shortly. Aaftab was taken to FSL a short while back. What are the latest updates we're getting on this developing story today?
Well, Shivangi, let us update our viewers regarding this polygraph test that is happening on Aaftab to determine determine the timeline of the entire murder case. The process has begun. The entire process has begun. Aaftab has been taken to the secluded room that was prescribed for this particular test. There, he'll be made to sit on a recliner chair, and all the medical equipment will be brought in there, and his heartbeat will be monitored when these 50 questions will be fired from the side of the authorities. Now, why this is important? This is important ahead of the narco test, so as to give a strong basis to the police officials to move forward with the narco test, so that they will have better questions, because the timing of the narco test is comparatively less than what they can really have here at the polygraph test. Around, according to the FSL experts, around 30 minutes to 2 hours, 30 minutes, that is 2.5 hours, Aaftab could be kept inside, because 50 questions are a lot of questions that have been put forth by the Delhi police officials, and they will be asking these. One, mainly because they do not have any evidence in black and white. All the evidence that they have right now is circumstantial, and from top sources of the Delhi police, we have come to know that the Delhi police is highly depending on the forensics for procuring such kind of evidence that could be admissible in court. And as Aaftab's custody will end on Saturday, and if Delhi police does not produce anything more valuable, it is highly likely the court will send Aaftab to JC. Now, that is the judicial custody. Now, we'll have to wait and watch as to what really comes out of this particular polygraph test, the 50 questions that will be posed in front of Aaftab, because this will determine the basis of the narco test. This will also help them churn out a better questionnaire for the narco test, because that happens for 1.5 hour maximum in an operation theatre that will take at the B.R. Ambedkar Hospital here in North Delhi, and that is also supposed to take place. So after a successful polygraph test, the police will then move towards the narco test, so as to determine that where has he finally hid the murder weapon, what really happened, because since the beginning the Delhi police have had multiple apprehensions regarding Aaftab and his pendulating statements that he has been changing all this while he has been very inconsistent, and the Delhi police to determine some strong points from where they can strengthen their search. Shivangi will have to wait and watch as to what comes out of this polygraph test, because that will sketch the entire map for the Delhi police for the further investigation. Back to you.
Right. Well, Madhurima, like you just said, and you've got the top update for us and for our viewers, and the polygraph test has now begun. It is underway as we speak. Madhurima getting us all the top updates, and of course, we are tracking every detail as Aaftab is taken to FSL. Polygraph test has started. Our sources tell us almost 50 questions will be posed to Aaftab. All right, viewers, let's go ahead to our exclusive interview with Republic TV's political editor Aishwarya Kapoor. BJP President JP Nadda asserted that the Gujarat Assembly election is one-sided, predicting that BJP will get no less than 150 seats. He also asserted that Congress was the party's main competitor, even as Aam Aadmi Party has mounted an intense campaign highlighting the track record of Aam Aadmi Party. He dubbed it as an advertisement-based party. Take a look.
That's the national president of not the largest party only in the country, but the world. I'm talking about Mr. Jagat Prakash Nadda. Sir, नमस्कार. एक तो सबसे पहला सवाल बहुत ही इंट्रीगिंग सवाल ये, that how do you do it? How do you and your party do it? 24-48 घंटे पहले मतलब मैंने देखा, मतलब हिमाचल से गुजरात, गुजरात से हिमाचल, you were doing it, and not only you, your complete party, right from the Prime Minister to your cadre. How do you do it?
ऐश्वर्या जी, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि हमको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी, मैंने पहले भी कहा, 24/7/365 काम करती है, और हम सब लोग देर रात तक और प्रातः सुबह उठ करके काम में जुटते हैं। ये और इतनी बड़ी पार्टी है, और इस पार्टी में हर नेता के लिए काम है, हर काम के लिए नेता और कार्यकर्ता हैं, और हर कार्यकर्ता के लिए काम है। इसलिए सबके काम डिवाइडेड हैं, उसमें सबको अपने अपनी जिम्मेदारियों को निभाना पड़ता है, और इसीलिए हम प्लानिंग इन डिटेल और प्लानिंग इन एडवांस, ये दोनों चीज़ों को ध्यान में रख करके हम करते हैं। इसलिए ज़्यादा हम प्रोडक्टिविटी निकाल पाते हैं, ज़्यादा हम इफेक्टिवली काम करते हैं।
नड्डा जी, लेकिन आप तो खुद मतलब हिमाचल से आते हैं, आपने वहाँ यहाँ लगातार रैली, लेकिन इस बार पॉलिटिक्स की अगर मैं बात करूँ तो गुजरात में बोल रहे हैं कि आम आदमी पार्टी, खैर ग्राउंड पे आके ऐसा नहीं दिखता, लेकिन मीडिया में, एंड आई हैव नो आई डोंट वांट टू शाय अवे बाय सेइंग, मीडिया में ऐसी एक इमेज बनाई जा रही है कि भाई आम आदमी पार्टी तो ऐसा पता नहीं क्या ही कर देगी। आम आदमी पार्टी, चलिए मतलब उनके नेता बोलें कि वो सरकार बना रहे, समझ आते हैं मतलब वो क्या बोलेंगे, लेकिन आपको लगता है ग्राउंड में आम आदमी पार्टी विल रियली मेक एनी इम्पैक्ट? सर
देखिए, धीरे धीरे जनता जान गई है। मैं उनका रिकॉर्ड रख देता हूं आपके सामने। बनारस लड़ने गए थे, पिट के आए और बाद में माफी मांगी। फिर उत्तर प्रदेश माफी मांगी कि नहीं मांगी? उत्तर प्रदेश में चुनाव लड़ने गए, 350 सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ा। हम मना किसको करेंगे, लड़ो भैया। 349 सीटों पर जमानत जब्त करा करके आए। फिर आपने कहा उत्तराखंड में इनकी सरकार बनेगी, उन्होंने हल्ला किया बहुत बड़ा मीडिया से। और होता क्या है, दिल्ली का एडवर्टीजमेंट उत्तराखंड में, पंजाब का एडवर्टीजमेंट उत्तराखंड में, और वहां पर वो केजरीवाल को दिखाएंगे और पैसा देंगे पंजाब सरकार से। तो आपको लगता है कि एडवर्टीजमेंट से बन गए। अब क्या हुआ कि उनका चीफ मिनिस्टर का कैंडिडेट तो बीजेपी में आ गया और 69 सीट्स पर लड़कर के 68 पर जमानत जब्त करा ली। तो ये तो उनका रिकॉर्ड है। गोवा गए थे, गोवा में भी पंजाब का एडवर्टीजमेंट अखबारों में भरा हुआ, बैनर ही बैनर, बैनर ही बैनर, बैनर ही बैनर। क्या निकला वहां पर? निकला ये कि 39 सीट्स पर चुनाव लड़ा, 35 सीट्स पर जमानत जब्त करके आ गए। अभी हिमाचल प्रदेश में आपने खूब बोला, सब लोगों ने बोला कि वो हिमाचल में क्रीज पर खड़े बाद में हुए, आउट पहले हो गए। 67 सीट देख रहा था, हाँ 67 सीट पर लड़े हैं ऐश्वर्या जी। 67 की जमानत जब्त होगी। अब यहां आम आदमी पार्टी आज से 3 महीने पहले आप ही लोगों ने कहा आप आ रही है, ये वो, इनका रिकॉर्ड क्या है? ये बैनर बेस्ड पार्टी है, ये एडवर्टीजमेंट बेस्ड पार्टी है।
ग्राउंड पे नहीं दिखता ना जी, वो मैं कह रहा हूँ,
मैं तो
कांग्रेस का भी है।
और देखिए ऐश्वर्या भाई, मेरे को लोगों ने कहा दिया कि ये एरोगेंट स्टेटमेंट है। मैंने सबसे कहा था कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी से मुकाबला करने के लिए 50 साल की तपस्या करो। पार्टी 2 दिन में नहीं खड़ी होती भाई साहब, और 2 दिन में समाप्त भी नहीं होती है। मैं कांग्रेस को क्यों बोलता हूं कि कांग्रेस के साथ लड़ाई है, कि वह समाप्त होते होते भी उसके पास
मेरा अगला सवाल यही था कि आप ये बात अगर कांग्रेस के लिए बोलते तो मैं आपको काउंटर करता कि कांग्रेस का भी 20% वोट शेयर,
इसीलिए मैं जानता हूं पर जब मैं बोलता हूं कि लड़ाई कांग्रेस से होती है तो बोलते हो कि आप कांग्रेस को बढ़ा रहे हो। मैं क्यों बढ़ा?
कांग्रेस को बढ़ा?
हाँ, ये ऑपोजिशन के लोग आरोप लगाते हैं।
जगत प्रकाश नड्डा,
हाँ,
द नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द बीजेपी,
हाँ,
वो कांग्रेस को,
हाँ जी भाई, जिससे लड़ाई होगी उसके नाम लेना होगा कि नहीं होगा? आप पूछोगे कि किससे लड़ाई होगी, तो ये छिटपुट लड़ाई। हाँ, इसमें भी कोई दो राय नहीं है कि कांग्रेस की ताकत बहुत कम हो गई, और वो अब कुछ सीटों पर सीमित हो गए हैं। लेकिन लड़ाई अगर होती है, वैसे तो लड़ाई है ही नहीं, एक तरफा है सारे का सारा मामला, लेकिन जो भी सामने दिखता है वो कांग्रेस पार्टी के लोग दिखते हैं कुछ स्थानों पर।
नो, बट फिर ये तो फिर जनता के साथ झूठ हुआ ना नड्डा जी, क्योंकि जब आप, अगर आज हम गुजरात में बैठे हैं, मैं गुजरात के लोकल मतलब इश्यूज की बात करूं, आपने कहा कि अरविंद केजरीवाल आते हैं, उनका ग्राउंड पे कुछ है नहीं, लड़ाई आपकी अभी भी कांग्रेस के साथ है, लेकिन वो ऐसा बनाते हैं, आप कहते हैं कि आप 24/7 365, वो उस 365 को 366 कर देते हैं, बोलते हैं हम तो 366वां दिन है नहीं, लेकिन वो कहते हैं कि हम तो 366 दिन काम करते हैं जी।
तो मैंने मना कहाँ किया, करो ना भैया, लेकिन नतीजे तो तुम्हारे सामने। मैंने तो आपको जमानत जब्तों की लिस्ट बता दी। फ्रॉड और धोखा दे करके और जनता को बरगला कर, ये थोड़े दिन चलता है राजनीति में, हम मना थोड़ा ना कर सकते हैं। प्रजातंत्र राज है, आप एडवर्टीजमेंट की बाहर लगा दें और आप कहीं हर एक जगह अपने फोटो लगा दें,
इम्पैक्ट सड़क मतलब जनता पे तो नहीं।
वही मैं कहता हूं कि 2 दिन में बनता नहीं है, तो ये उनको समझ में नहीं आता, तो मैं क्या करूं।
और जैसे ही कोई भी करप्शन किए, आपने, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा 14 से पहले ना खाऊंगा ना खाने दूंगा, 0 टॉलरेंस टुवर्ड्स करप्शन, आपने खुद कहा। चाहे मतलब हिमाचल हो, सत्येंद्र जैन पे एक्शन हुआ तो कहा देखो जी मतलब हिमाचल में इलेक्शन होने वाला है, मतलब इसलिए हो रहा है जी। अभी कुछ भी हो रहा है, वो कह रहे देखो जी गुजरात में इलेक्शन है जी, मतलब इसलिए हो रहा है। सो हाउ डू यू काउंटर दैट?
काउंटर करने की जरूरत नहीं है, उनके बारे में इमेज साफ बनती चली गई है कि उनके बराबर का झूठ बोलने वाला और उनकी पार्टी के बराबर का झूठ बोलने वाला नेता, उनको इसके लिए
आप बोल रहे हैं जो नॉर्मली पर्सनल कमेंट करता नहीं है,
ये गोल्ड मेडल देना चाहिए उनको झूठ बोलने के लिए। मैं पार्टी नहीं बनाऊंगा, पार्टी बनाई। मैं चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा, चुनाव लड़ा। मैं कांग्रेस के साथ नहीं लूंगा, कांग्रेस के साथ लेकर के सरकार बनाई। मैं क्रिमिनल्स को टिकट नहीं दूंगा। 3 तो जेल में बैठे हैं, 1 भ्रष्टाचार में बैठा है, 2 दंगे कराने के कारण बैठे हैं। मैं पानी माफिया को प्रश्रय नहीं दूंगा, 1000 टैंकर लगा करके माफिया को प्रश्रय दिया। मैं लोकपाल बिल बनाऊंगा, रामलीला मैदान में बैठे रहे 20 दिन तक, आज लोकपाल बिल कहाँ है? तो ये ऊपर अभी इन्होंने, ये टीवी पर आ रहा है, आपने भी देखा, आज वो ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहे थे, कल मसाज करा रहे थे, और मनीष सिसोदिया बोलते हैं कि इन पर आरोप लगाने वालों को शर्म आनी चाहिए। मतलब बेशर्मी की तेरी हद है कि तुम एक रेपिस्ट को थेरेपिस्ट कहते हो और दुनिया की आंखों में धूल झोंकते हो। ऐसे लोगों को, जो इस तरीके की झूठ बोलने वाले और जनता को गुमराह करने वाले हैं, इनको घर बैठा देना चाहिए।
तो क्या मतलब इसी से आपको कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि जब आप और आपके पार्टी के नेता बोलते हैं जी 150 से कम नहीं आएंगे गुजरात में?
तो इनके कारण नहीं, इनको तो हम एक्सपोज करेंगे। हमको वोट इसलिए मिलता है, मोदी जी के प्रति अथाह प्रेम है, अटूट विश्वास है, और देश की और प्रदेश की जनता जानती है कि किसने देश को बदला, किसने प्रदेश को बदला, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी।
बट नड्डा जी अभी तक, और ये मेरा लास्ट सवाल है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी अभी तक जो मैक्सिमम नंबर्स लाई वो 126 से 127, मतलब इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग 127 2002 में। उसके बाद ग्राफ धीरे धीरे नीचे आया, 99 लास्ट टाइम आया, अब आपका प्रेजेंट असेंबली में 112 है। अगर अब बीजेपी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष ये कहें 150, तो लगता है क्या होने वाला है जो मतलब 2002 से लेके 2022 तक नहीं हुआ, अब इस बार क्या आप देखते हैं?
जब ये
पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द बीजेपी,
ऐसा है, जब ये 99 आती है तो लोगों को धक्का लगता है कि क्या कमी रह गई, वो इस बार पूरा कर देंगे।
तो आपको लग रहा है जो पिछली बार कमी रह गई थी वो पूरी भरपूर
कर लिया, एक तरफा है। इतने साल ऐश्वर्य भाई, मैं इतने साल से राजनीति का कार्यकर्ता के रूप में काम कर रहा हूँ, यह चुनाव एक तरफा दिख रहा है। मुझे तो कार्यकर्ताओं को बोलना पड़ रहा है कि भाई एकदम तुम कॉम्प्लेसेंट मत हो जाना।
एंड द इशू ऑफ डेवलपमेंट कम्स,
बिल्कुल, एवरी टाइम व्हेन आई कम, यू आर सिटिंग हियर इन गिफ्ट सिटी, which was the dream of Prime Minister Modi ji, which has come to a reality. We are sitting in a hotel which is in the gift city. यहाँ आईटी का हब बन रहा है, यहाँ हाईवेज बन रहे हैं, यहाँ फ्लाईओवर्स बन रहे हैं. जब भी आता हूं तो नई चीज बनती है. अभी राजकोट गया तो ऑल इंडियन ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज दिख रहा है. तो ये एक परिवर्तन की एक लहर दिखती है लोगों को, और लोगों को विकास के साथ जुड़ना पसंद आता है.
एब्सोल्युटली. एंड वाइल एंड अभी आपने 12 रेबल्स को निकाल दिया, तो ये जो रेबल्स का इशू है कोई इतना मेजर?
बिल्कुल नहीं. पार्टी हमारी बड़ी मजबूत है, सबको साथ चलना पड़ता है, और जो नहीं चलते हैं वो छिटक जाते हैं.
एंड कॉन्फिडेंस इज श्योर कि 150 से नीचे?
एकदम अच्छे तरीके से.
सो दैट्स अ वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट बीजेपी नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी कह रहे हैं कि देखिए सबसे बड़ी पार्टी है, और जो उनका मैसेज है विपक्षी पार्टियों के लिए कि 2 दिन में राजनीतिक दल खड़े नहीं.
Viewers, getting some breaking updates coming in. Getting in visuals of MNS workers slapping the manager of a hotel in Navi Mumbai for not playing Marathi songs. That's the breaking coming in right now, and this has been caught on camera, on tape. Exclusive visuals there on your screen of that sequence playing out for our viewers. You can see the visuals there where the MNS workers can be seen getting into a brawl, slapping the manager of a hotel in Navi Mumbai for not playing Marathi songs. Alicia is joining us to take us through what our viewers are seeing on their screens. These exclusive visuals coming in. Alicia.
For last evening, where there was a MNS leader who went to an hotel in Vashi, Navi Mumbai, where they were forcing the manager to play the Marathi song. When the manager has refused to play that Marathi song, he was slapped. And we can clearly see in the video as well, where the MNS worker has been clearly slapping the manager of the hotel. He's the hotel manager in Vashi, in Navi Mumbai, where there were a constant heated argument that has also been erupted between the manager and the MNS worker, where they were forcing the manager to play the Marathi song, and when he refused to do that, he was slapped. So such action that has been done by the MNS leaders, we can see in the visuals itself, where this incident is of last evening, where the MNS workers has went to an hotel in Navi Mumbai, and later when the manager refused to play the Marathi song, he was slapped by the MNS workers.
Right. So basically we are seeing MNS workers slapping hotel manager, and in fact this is the first time that MNS workers are seen in a brawl. In fact, we have seen other cases, Alicia, where we have seen MNS get into these kind of situations as well.
Well, yes, Shivangi, this is not the first time, and we have been seeing it visuals from the many of the districts in the state of Maharashtra when it comes to the language of Marathi. And this is the same incident where we have been seeing. So though Gundaism of MNS is being constantly is caught in camera, and this time for the Marathi songs, where MNS leaders, they went to an hotel and they asked a manager to play Marathi song, and when the manager refused to do so, he was beaten, and that is something has been caught in the camera, because there was first a heated argument that erupted between, where manager said that we cannot play because there is also another customers who have been sitting in the hotel, and they this is something, a mutual song that has to be played in the hotel. But when not listened, the MNS workers has actually heated him, and that is something we can see how he was slapped, where the MNS worker itself first went with the heated argument, and when manager refused, and they were slapped. But as of now, there is no official complaint that has been filed by the manager, and we'll see whether the fact is there any official complaint that will be filed by the manager, as because this is something that's caught on camera.
Right, so visuals on the screen, MNS workers slapping a hotel manager, the visuals of that playing on the screen, viewers. It is hooliganism by the MNS workers, Alicia, and attacked for not playing a Marathi song. If you could take our viewers through exactly what's happening on the screen, how many MNS workers were present at that altercation which took place, Alicia?
Well, as of now, in the video, we can see there are 10 to 15 MNS workers. Well, we are not sure about it, because this is something hooliganism we can see from the MNS leaders, and there was some of the heated argument. So earlier even we saw that MNS workers has went to the street and asking all the people, the shop owners, to name their shop even in a Marathi content, in the Marathi font as well. So we even saw such kind of acts that has been done by Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, and this time again when yesterday, it is an incident of yesterday in Navi Mumbai, Vashi, that too when they went to an hotel and they were demanding for the Marathi songs, but when it has been refused by the manager, there was some of the heated argument that happened, and when he completely refused that he could not play the Marathi song, and
right.
we can even hear in the
I
video
don't want
as
to
well.
interrupt you. You're helping us understand the story better. I understand that. And the viewers are also getting a great perspective right now on this story. But I'm being joined right now by Ram Kadam of the BJP. I'll just speak to him and then you can continue getting us all the details. Mr. Kadam, visuals on a screen for everyone to see. Exclusive visuals where MNS workers are participating in hooliganism. What is the first reaction?
See, point number one, we will not tolerate any kind of hooliganism by anyone, any party worker or any party leader. So law will take its own course, will definitely book them. But at the same time, if they have some valid points, they can put it across. But taking law into their hands, it is not acceptable at all. Will not allow anyone to take law in their hands. We will take strict action against it.
And Mr. Kadam, not the first time. In fact, in September, a woman was slapped and pushed by MNS workers. That video had also gone viral. So these incidents we have been seeing from MNS workers from time to time. Is it time, you said, for more strict action? Because we are seeing these incidents play out again and again and again.
As I said, that we will not allow anyone, any party workers to take law in their hands. This is not Uddhav Thackeray's government. This government is leading by Honorable Chief Minister Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis. So we'll to break law and order situation to anyone, we'll take strict action against them. If they have some valid points, they can put across, but this is not the right way. We will not support such kind of activities at all.
Mr. Kadam, we have been seeing that continuously such kind of factor, whether it was earlier Jitendra Award and now it's MNS. We can see that continuously a law and order situation that has come across, and specifically it is disturbed by the public. So is there some stringent action that is going to be taken by the government, or some meeting is going to be conducted? Because we have been seeing now that Bharatiya Janata Party is in government now, and you've been clearly saying that there could be a strict action that is going to be initiated. But is this something now, a thing that is going to be taken into the consideration?
All right, we lost the line there with Ram Kadam, but the pictures that you see on your screens of how MNS once again took the law into their hands. The manager who was attacked by 3 MNS workers, and they resorted to this kind of hooliganism because Marathi songs were not being played. Hence, they went on to beat him up. These are pictures from Navi Mumbai. Time and again, we've seen how MNS workers have resorted to such sort of behavior and always held themselves above the law. But as Alisha questioned, that will the government this time around take any sort of strict action? As we had a few days ago seen what Jitendra Awad had done. And Alisha, I want to come back to you on this very point, because this is very, very pertinent. MNS is known for this kind of behavior. They're known for getting their way, and they're very clear in their way of functioning that it's my way or the highway. But that does not cut ice, because you are and should be law-abiding citizens, and that is very clear. We saw what happened with Jitendra Awad. We saw how the reigning government in Maharashtra had said that strict action will be taken. Will they act this time around?
Well, Suesha, this is something a matter of question, because this is a common public get disturbed with. Because what is the demand? When the MNS worker went to the hotel and they spoke to the manager, clearly demanding that there should be a Marathi song that has to be played in the hotel. And what has been said that we even have to look after the other customers as well, and that actually the answer given by the manager has actually went to a heated argument and he was slapped. So such kind of fact, of course, we heard Ram Kadam where the Bharatiya Janata Party is in government, and they clearly mentioned that there will be a strict action that is going to be initiated against him because no one can take law and order into their hand. But what is important to know whether the government is truly going to look into it, because yes, of course, we saw what happened with Jitendra Awad when he went to the theatre and he was arrested. So is there something action that has also been initiated by the police or by the government? Because as of now, what we have been told, there is no official complaint that has been filed by the manager over the act that has been done by Manse workers, MNS workers. But we'll see whether government is going to take some strict action over it, because it is very something disturbing for the people as well, whether it is a theatre or whether it is a restaurant. It is something now the people have to think whether they have to go or not, because a common public has been very much disturbed, and this is something the government will look into it, and we will continue to even to check whether government will really think about or any other sort of action that is going to be initiated against those MNS workers who went to that restaurant last evening in Vashi, where just not for playing Marathi song, the manager was slapped.
But Alicia, you know, such incidents on the rise is extremely concerning, because while Marathi pride is at one point very important and their sentiments are respected, but that doesn't mean that they take the law into their hands. And especially when it is the MNS, of course, we've seen such repeat offences time and again over the years. Even recently, what happened with Jitendra Awad, especially in cinema halls, over not playing Marathi songs, or over when they believe that facts have been distorted and history has been shown wrongly, all set aside. There are different ways of dealing with this. You cannot just come and start beating up people.
Certainly, Suesha, and this is something even the leaders has to understand about it, because I believe now Raj Thackeray should also has made it a point very clearly that the common people should not get disturbed whether the fact when it comes to the name of Marathi, because earlier we saw there was many protests and there was some of such kind of act that has already been done by Maharashtra Nirman Sena when it comes to the Marathi board, because we saw that there are many of the boards in the state of the shop board, the boards which is been in English has also been asked to put it up in Marathi as well. So even we saw such act that has also been done earlier as well. But now it comes to the songs, because this is something the Kundism of MNS workers we have been seeing. They just went to an hotel, a random hotel in Vashi, and just they asked the manager, they forced manager to put up to play Marathi songs, and if the manager is refusing, he has been slapped, he has been beaten by not only by the one person but also in the videos clearly seen there are other workers also who have been included in this. But we'll see whether the official complaint has been filed or not.
Alicia, we'll coming back to you for further updates on this, and also more importantly, as and when more reactions coming in on this. For the moment, we move on to other breaking news coming in from the national capital. And yes, this is news coming in from Jama Masjid, where entry of solitary women and women in groups has been strictly banned. This comes after the iconic Jama Masjid in Delhi recently issued an order banning the entry of women. Following this, the NCW chief, Swati Maliwal, who is now hit out, saying that the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. As much as a man has the right to worship, so also a woman, and issued a notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid. This is the big controversy that is now escalating from the Jama Masjid in the national capital, where they banned the entry of single women or even women in groups are not allowed to enter Jama Masjid. Several reactions coming into this. Let's listen in.
I don't think it's a right decision, because in our Islam it's never allowed, and it's authentic as per Hadith as well, where we have been told that accompany your woman at night if she wants to go to masjid. So I don't think it's appropriate or it's a right decision to ban a woman going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
And Piyush now joining us live on the broadcast. Piyush, such a mindset is more disturbing apart from other things. Because once again, banning the entry of a single woman or even a group of women on the basis of what? Just being misogynistic or having a valid reason to doing that? And why out of the blue coming in on this? Of course, Piyush also throw light on what Swati Maliwal has said and the notice that DCW has sent to the Imam of Jama Masjid.
Well, certainly, Suesha, it is misogynistic, and what we are now given to understand is that DCW, Delhi Commission for Women Chairperson, Swati Maliwal has now intervened, and she is now writing to the administration of Jama Masjid and seeking a proper explanation from them for this arbitrary decision which has been taken by them. According to the decision which has been taken by the administration of Jama Masjid, women alone, solitary women or women in groups are not allowed inside the Jama Masjid. In fact, they are allowed with their husband or some male. This is what the administration is also coming out with. And for the same purpose, they have put out this very order on each entrance of Jama Masjid. Not only DCW chief, but the organizations like VHP and others have now slammed this move. In fact, they are asking an explanation from the administration on this very order which has been released by the administration. This is coming at a time, Suesha, when we are already seeing the pictures coming in from different parts of the world where women are fighting for their rights, Muslim women are fighting for their rights, and here in National Capital, Jama Masjid is coming out with this arbitrary decision. Certainly raises a lot of questions, but yes, there are now organizations who those have come out and they are now seeking explanation, they are seeking answers from the administration. So far, there is no word coming in. We'll have to wait and watch if they are going to take back this very decision or if they will continue with this.
Absolutely, Piyush, but continue to take us through a little bit of history when it comes to Jama Masjid. This order out of the blue, on what basis? And if the entry of women has always been allowed, be it a single woman or be it a group of women, then why suddenly this kind of an order?
Well, Suesha, we've always seen women in groups, women also alone going there, taking part in many celebrations there at Jama Masjid. In fact, it is one of the topmost historical monument and also a tourist place here in National Capital, where we have always seen people going there, celebrating festivals. In fact, tourists come from different parts of the world to view, to look into Jama Masjid. They go inside.
Right.
Means it is a place which is well-known place, and now the administration coming out with such
Absolutely, Piyush, I'm sorry, I'm having to interrupt you here. We're trying to get more voices on this. Brinda Adige is now with us on the phone line. Brinda, your response to this very latest order by the Imam of Jama Masjid, where out of nowhere they've put up notices everywhere ordering that be it a single woman or even a group of women not accompanied by any man must not enter the Jama Masjid, and no explanation on this either.
This is so regressive, and they have done this suddenly, and this is unacceptable. How is it that they are stopping a practice that has been happening for so many decades, that only with a man a woman can enter? Unacceptable. I think the court must come down heavily on them, and women in the Muslim community also must question why such a regressive, oppressive kind of a notice has been put that only a woman with a man can come in over there. Why will their God not hear the prayers if the woman comes alone and pray or visit? What nonsense is this? Why are they becoming so regressive, and why are they opposing women? Where does it show in their holy books that women have to be treated in this manner? This patriarchal setup must be questioned and challenged. I do hope that somebody is going to take this matter to court and ensure that these imams can't pass around this kind of regressive notices and decisions that they make overnight.
Absolutely. Brinda Adike, stay on with us. I'd also like to get a response on the very same from Zeenat Shaukat Ali, who's with us on the phone line. Zeenat, is this hurtful at any level, being a Muslim woman and suddenly being told that you can't enter the Jama Masjid because you're a single woman, or even if you're with a group of women, the very fact that you're not accompanied by a man, out of nowhere, these notices put up that you can't enter?
I think this is absolutely and totally unwarranted. Islam does not say such things. And, by talking like this, they're giving a very, very wrong impression about the rights that Islam has given to women, which they're trying to take away. In early Islam, right down the line, you find that women used to go to say their prayers. And there is even a tradition of the Prophet Muhammad which states that, women used to, pray at the back row because they used to, in the early morning prayers, which is before sunrise. And they used to bring their babies. So when the babies would cry, they would say their obligatory prayers and leave so that they would not disturb. The point I'm making is that women have gone to mosques. Women go to mosques all over the world. In Saudi Arabia also women go to mosques. In the Kaaba, which is the holiest, the first mosque of Islam and the holiest mosque there, people go to pray. Women and men pray. What kind of a diktat is this that, we are hearing? And it's always women that are put on the forefront, and you put a gun on a woman's shoulder and shoot. What is the meaning of this? And I want to say in absolutely unequivocal terms that this is regressive. It has nothing to do with Islam. It is to do with your own patriarchal mindset and to do with your own misogynistic thinking that you are bringing about these rules. As a person who is a very small scholar of Islam, I can assure you that I have a paper written on this issue. That, there is no such today all over the world. You look at Malaysia, you look at Indonesia, you look at the Maghrebi bloc of countries, you look at the Arab bloc of countries. Yes. Women go very easily to the mosque to pray. So I don't see why they are, in India, they start this kind of a talk, which is totally
absolutely it is. And Zeenat, please stay on the line because I quickly want to get a response from Atikur Rahman on this, really to understand if he'll justify this or condemn this. Atikur Rahman, where you stand on this?
This is absolutely a condemnable decision, a diktat which will be questioned. Not only questioned, they will be, taken very heavily by the women's group. Not only the women's group, I would advise the Jama Masjid Delhi to take some lessons from the Jama Masjid of Mumbai, the Haji Ali Dargah Trust, the Mahim Dargah Trust, wherein we are opening our doors for the women. Women are not barred as far as the religion of Islam is concerned. Dr. Zeenat Shaukat Ali has really, had a tough fight with the ulama and the clergy of the Muslim community. And we have come down heavily on these imams. That dictates are nowhere, in tune with the times. Women should be allowed in the mosques. And I think the courts will take heavily the administration of the Jama Masjid Delhi. And I would advise them to take back its decision immediately. Because it's a regressive practice. We are nowadays, thinking of how we can give ample scope to our women in our society. At these particular times, they cannot have their dictates, their farmans of this kind. We will not allow this. We will fight down and they will have to take back their decision. Women should be allowed in the mosques.
Very true. Absolutely in agreement. All our speakers there. Thank you for joining us here on Republic. And at a time when women are standing up for their rights across the globe, even in the countries where women are most suppressed, fighting against the forced wearing of the veil, we here see in Jama Masjid such sort of forced orders now being pressed upon women by the Imam. We'll continue to track all the reactions on the story. For the moment, slipping into a very short commercial break. Also a quick check of what's lined up on the other side. Vadra Congress completely disappears in Gujarat. All Hardik allies are set to dump the grand old party days ahead of the polls. A big setback to the Congress yet again.
Brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
आपने इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा नो मनी नो टेरर वाली बात आपने कही, तो इस पर जितने हमारे दर्शक है और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर दर्शक है वो जानना चाहते हैं कि इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है।
जहाँ तक देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा और बाह्य सुरक्षा का सवाल है, किसी भी खतरे के लिए हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति बरकरार रहेगी और दृढ़ता के साथ आगे बढ़ेगी। और भारत सरकार की सारी एजेंसियां बड़ी मुस्तैदी के साथ भारत की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को मजबूत करने के लिए पैनी नजर रखकर सजग हैं।
पहले आप वीर सावरकर को लेकर कुछ भी कह सकते थे, जो लोग हिंदुत्व में विश्वास रखते हैं वो पहले से ज्यादा असर्टिव हो गए हैं।
हमारी पार्टी के विचार, हम सब के विचार, देश का इतिहास, इस सबको साइड पर रखकर उनकी दादी के भी स्टेटमेंट पढ़ लेते तो उनको मालूम पड़ता। वीर सावरकर के जीवन को आप पूरी बारीकी से देखेंगे तो हिंदू संस्कृति, भारतीय संस्कृति के लिए उनका पक्ष और एक मजबूत विचार एक डायमेंशन है।
सीट की के रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल।
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूँ कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूँ कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
सुरक्षा के मुद्दे पर एक सवाल मेरा ये है कि जो आपने आइडियोलॉजी की बात कही और आप गृह मंत्री है देश के, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो आईसिस आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है, इसको बिल्कुल इस प्रॉब्लम को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए?
आईसिस की आइडियोलॉजी हो या जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी हो या पीएफआई पहले जो अपनी प्रवृत्तियां करता था वो हो, जिस दिन कोई भी विचार, कोई भी संगठन, कोई भी गतिविधि इस देश की इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए खतरा बनेगी, इसको हम सहन नहीं करेंगे और बहुत दृढ़ता के साथ इसको क्रश करेंगे।
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी
Continuing to get you details of this very bizarre order that is coming from the Imam of Jama Masjid, where the entry of a single woman or even a group of women not being accompanied by any man has been banned at the Jama Masjid. This has happened in Delhi, after which the Delhi Commission of Women Chief Swati Maliwal, who is now hit out at the Imam, saying that this decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. As much as a man has the right to worship, so also a woman, and they issued a notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid on the same. You see on your screens right now written very clearly, Jama Masjid में लड़की या लड़कियों का आना दाखला मना है। जामा मस्जिद में लड़की या लड़कियों का अकेले दाखला मना है, which is very clear that if the woman is alone, even if she is accompanied by other women and no man accompanying them, then they will not be allowed inside the Jama Masjid. Several reactions coming in on this. Let's listen in.
As far as the Jama Masjid, the issue is concerned, whatever the Imam Sahib of the Jama Masjid has issued instructions regarding the people going to see or do prayer or offer namaz in Jama Masjid. It is as per the Shariat, and you all know, all people know that all places of worship are basically for worshipping, and masjid is also to offer namaz. So the sanctity of the masjid must be maintained, and whether it is a boy or girl, man or woman, whoever is visiting mosque, he or she must follow all the instruction, so that nobody have any objection in visiting mosque by anyone.
Right, so those are the very reactions that are coming in on this, while some in absolute disagreement of what has been announced by the Imam, and this coming out of nowhere, no justification given yet. And remember, even DCW Chief Swati Mariwal also sending a notice to the Imam on the same. Some voices coming in support of what the Imam has done. We step into a very short commercial break. We'll be back on the other side with more reactions on the same. Stay with us.
10 दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
केजरीवाल जी ने इस बार हिंदू कार्ड प्ले करने की कोशिश की।
कोई किसी भी कार्ड को प्ले करे, भारत की जनता और विशेषकर गुजरात की जनता इतनी भूली भाली नहीं है कि एक दो टोचकों से या एक दो स्टेटमेंट से किसी और बह जाए। अरे भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी तक हमने कहा था कि हम 370 धारा को जब भी हमें मौका मिलेगा हटाएंगे। एक देश में दो निशान, दो प्रधान, दो विधान नहीं चल सकते, और हमने हटाकर दिखाया।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की बात आपने जो उठाई, 3 राज्यों में क्यों, राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर क्यों नहीं?
हमने कहा था कि हम इस देश में कॉमन सिविल कोड की पैरवी करेंगे, और अगर हम पावर में आते हैं तो इसको लाएंगे। 1950 में कहा था, और आज कॉमन सिविल कोड के लिए भारत के 3 राज्यों ने इनिशिएटिव लिया है। एक चर्चा बहस छिड़ी है, तो कुछ ही समय में 3 राज्यों में कॉमन सिविल कोड आपको दिखाई पड़ेगा।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed the jailed Minister Satyendra Jain. In these pictures, given food of his choice. In the application, he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal murder. Keshav, who is just 25 years of age, was a drug addict, has murdered 4 of his family members.
According to the information that has been provided by police PRO, that it was a mass shooting that happened in a Virginia Walmart, and according to the information that it's multiple people have been reported dead.
इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा नो मनी नो टेरर वाली बात आपने कही, तो इस पर जितने हमारे दर्शक है और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर दर्शक है वो जानना चाहते हैं कि इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है।
जहाँ तक देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा और बाह्य सुरक्षा का सवाल है, किसी भी खतरे के लिए हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति बरकरार रहेगी और दृढ़ता के साथ आगे बढ़ेगी, और भारत सरकार की सारी एजेंसियां बड़ी मुस्तैदी के साथ भारत की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को मजबूत करने के लिए पैनी नजर रखकर सजग हैं।
Huge number of government employees are on the street. There's a ruckus on the street. Their demand about increasing the DA. This is one of the important issues here in West Bengal.
10 दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
Thanks for tuning in this Thursday afternoon. We are live and breaking. I'm Samiksha Shraddha. Over the next half an hour, we'll get you all the top stories making headlines. First up, a quick check of the top headlines this hour. Indian Army sacrificed, mocked and insulted and justifies as Bollywood actor Richa Chadha now faces boycott call. She's forced to apologize.
रिचा चड्ढा जो कि एक बॉलीवुड की थर्ड ग्रेडेड कलाकार है, भारत की सेना को अपमानित करने का काम किया है।
Anger over Galwan insult, back-to-back complaints filed against actor Richa Chadha. Sensational details emerge as Mangaluru blast probe gets bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund blasts in Karnataka. Shraddha murder probe widens, killer Aaftab's polygraph test underway. M&S hooliganism caught on camera. Hotel manager slapped for not playing Marathi songs. Patriarchal and sexist diktat by Jama Masjid, single women's right to prayer now blocked. Starting with a top focus this afternoon, a diktat as sexist and patriarchal as it could get. Single women have been denied entry to the Jama Masjid, saying that single women will now no longer be allowed inside the Jama Masjid. In fact, we have a host of reactions, slew of reactions as well coming in of women voicing their concerns against the sexist diktat that has been passed by the Imam of Jama Masjid. Let's listen into some of those reactions coming in.
I don't think it's a right decision because in our Islam it's never allowed, and it's authentic as per Hadith as well, where we have been told that accompany your woman at night if she wants to go to masjid. So I don't think it's appropriate or it's a right decision to ban a woman going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
So signboards that have been put out outside the Jama Masjid which bars entry of single women, the signboards that blocked single women entry. In fact, now women are speaking out opposing the Jama Masjid decision. A notice that has also been sent out by the NCW. In fact, the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. That's the word coming in from Swati Maliwal, where she said, as much as a man has the right to worship, so does a woman. I'm issuing a notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid. No one has a right to ban the entry of women like this. So absolute outrage and backlash that the Imam of Jama Masjid is facing over this diktat that has been passed by the Imam of the Jama Masjid. As you heard, the reactions coming in of women really voicing their concerns, coming out in the open and saying that this diktat that has been passed by the Imam of the Jama Masjid is absolutely sexist and patriarchal. Let's listen into a reaction coming in from the cleric on this diktat that has been passed by the Imam of the Jama Masjid.
As far as the Jama Masjid the issue is concerned, whatever the Imam Sahib of the Jama Masjid has issued instructions regarding the people going to see or do prayer or offer namaz in Jama Masjid, it is as per the Shariat. And you all know, all people know that all places of worship are basically for worshipping, and masjid is also to offer namaz. So the sanctity of the masjid must be maintained, And whether it is a boy or girl, man or woman, whoever is visiting mosque, he or she must follow all the instruction so that nobody have any objection in visiting mosque by anyone.
So this diktat that has been passed by the Imam of Jama Masjid is seeing massive backlash, and women of course coming out in the open voicing their dissent against this diktat that has been passed. In fact, this diktat that has been passed
पुरुषों के लिए इस तरह का कोई नोटिस नहीं लगाया गया है। हम पूछते हैं, जरा और भी लोगों से हम बातचीत करते हैं। सर, आप भैया आप यहाँ पर हैं, ये महिलाओं पर ही प्रतिबंध क्यों, लड़कों के लिए तो कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं है?
मैडम हम कुछ नहीं बोल सकते इसके बारे में।
ये तो धार्मिक स्थल है ना, धार्मिक स्थल में ऐसे प्रतिबंध क्यों, वो भी लड़कियों के लिए?
नहीं, मेरे
आप लोगों के लिए तो कोई नोटिस नहीं लगाया था।
नहीं मैम, अंदर जाते हैं फुल ड्रेस में जाते हैं, जो हाफ बाजू या
लेडीज। अभी तक जा रही थी लड़कियां। ये ऐतिहासिक इमारत भी है, लोग वैसे भी आते हैं यहाँ पे, फिर भी अब लड़कियां नहीं जा पाएंगे अकेले?
नहीं मैम, ये मस्जिद है, इसमें यहाँ जो अंदर एंट्री होगी फुल ड्रेस में ही होगी।
फुल ड्रेस क्या होती है? फुल ड्रेस क्या होती है?
फुल ड्रेस मैम नकाब ये सब होते हैं ना, बुरखा वुरखा पहन के जाना है, नकाब सब वो तो होता है मैम।
मतलब बुरखा पहन के अगर कोई अकेली लड़की जाएगी तो जा सकती है?
हाँ, बहुत सेफ्टी से जाना चाहिए।
मतलब आप मान रहे हैं कि सही है नोटिस? भैया यही पूछ रही हूँ मैं आपसे कि किसी पुरुष के लिए तो इस तरह का कोई नोटिस नहीं है।
आइए क्या कह रही हैं?
पुरुषों के लिए तो कोई नोटिस नहीं है, कोई भी पुरुष अकेले भी जा सकता है।
हाँ, अकेले जा सकता है।
ऐसा क्यों?
बट जो अकेली लेडीज है ना, जो अकेली लड़की है वो नहीं जा सकती। लेडीज आप देखेंगे सब लोग जा रही हैं नमाज पढ़ने, उनके लिए कोई पाबंदी नहीं है। जो अकेली लड़की आ रही है ना, उसके लिए पाबंदी लगाई है।
कारण क्या है?
कारण ये है कि वो अंदर जाके टिकटॉक बना रही हैं, म्यूजिक वीडियोस बना रही हैं।
पर ये तो पुरुष भी बना सकते हैं ना?
नहीं, पुरुष नहीं बना सकते, लड़कियां कर रही हैं ज्यादातर ये।
पर ये तो आप नोटिस वैसे भी लगा सकते हैं कि रील बनाना मना है।
वो यही शिकायत थी कि लड़कियां आके टिकटॉक वीडियोस बना रही हैं, इस वजह से मना किया है। वरना
आपको लगता है, ये हमारे साथ महिलाएं भी हैं, आपको लगता है कि जैसे अकेली लड़कियों पे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया गया एंट्री पे, आपको लगता है ठीक है?
और अकेली लड़कियां नहीं जा सकती यहाँ पर? Why is that? I have no idea.
तो देखा आपने कि जो नोटिस लगाया गया, हालांकि और भी महिलाएं जो यहाँ पे हमें मिलती हैं हम उनसे भी बातचीत करने की कोशिश करेंगे, लेकिन फिलहाल जो यहाँ पर पुरुष पहुँच रहे हैं उनका साफ तौर पर कहना है कि ये जो नोटिस है बिल्कुल सही है, ये कदम बिल्कुल सही है। लेकिन सवाल ये खड़ा होता है कि संविधान में तो सभी को बराबरी का अधिकार है, फिर इस धार्मिक स्थल पर जो कि आकर्षण का केंद्र भी है, वहाँ पर आखिर महिलाओं के एंट्री पर ही क्यों बैन लगाया गया है?
And this diktat, in fact, that has been passed by the Jama Masjid reeks of patriarchy, nothing less. Women there voicing their dissent, saying why would they need a male escort to enter the Jama Masjid? Now, this diktat clearly mentions that single women will have to be escorted by a male person to get that entry to the Jama Masjid. In fact, as you heard those voices, men there saying that the reason why this diktat has been passed is primarily because women inside, while they were entering the Jama Masjid, they were seen making TikTok videos. That's the kind of ridiculous argument that has been put out by some of those men outside the Jama Masjid. We have some more reactions coming in. Let's listen in.
प्रतिबंध लगा दिया गया है, अकेली लड़कियां जाती हैं तो उन पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाता है। हम कोशिश करेंगे अंदर जाने की कोशिश करेंगे। बिल्कुल हम जी बिल्कुल अनामिका जी, हम अभी अंदर जाने की कोशिश करेंगे क्योंकि हमें शूज उतारने पड़ेंगे और उसके बाद ही हम अंदर दाखिल हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पर शूज के साथ अंदर नहीं जाया जा सकता। तो हम कोशिश करेंगे अंदर जाने की और फिर उसके बाद हम ये सवाल भी, जो सवाल तमाम आप उठा रही हैं वो सवाल हम उठाएंगे।
That has been passed by the Jama Masjid has been met with a lot of backlash, criticism. In fact, the DCW chief Swati Maliwal has also sent out a notice to the Jama Masjid. In fact, she says in this notice that the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. As much as a man has a right to worship, so also a woman. I'm issuing a notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid. No one has a right to ban the entry of women like this. So DCW chief reacting strongly to this and also sending out a notice to the Jama Masjid. It remains to be seen the kind of response we get in from the Jama Masjid and how they really go about in trying to justify this diktat, which only reeks of patriarchy and sexism, nothing else. In fact, women who have also come out in the open voicing their dissent against this diktat that has been passed by the Jama Masjid Imam, saying that women will have to be escorted by a man to gain entry to the Jama Masjid. That's what the diktat says. In fact, notices that have also been put out.
हाँ तो वो बताइए ना, पता तो चले लोगों को. हाँ वो बताइए. अच्छा.
फैमिली के साथ आए कोई भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं, सब आ रहे हैं. हाँ जो समझाए वही कोई है. क्योंकि मैसेज गलत जाएगा ना.
And absolutely bizarre defense also coming in from the Jama Masjid at this point in time, saying that the reason why single women have been denied entry to the Jama Masjid is because they've been seeing that women who go inside the Jama Masjid make TikTok videos. Well, this is what is coming in from the Jama Masjid at this point. A lot of dissent, criticism and backlash coming in. Let's listen into more reactions coming in. VHP has strongly condemned this diktat by the Imam of the Jama Masjid. Let's listen in to a reaction from the VHP.
बेटियों को जो लोग 3 तलाक, हलाला, हिजाब और काले बोरे में कैद करने की मानसिकता की ठेकेदारी करते हैं, वो लोग उन बेटियों को मदरसों में भेजने की तो वकालत करते हैं जो इस्लामिक सेक्स गैंग के अड्डे बन रहे हैं, लेकिन मस्जिद में लट्ठ लेके खड़े हो जाते हैं कि नहीं, मस्जिद में लड़की या लड़कियों को के अकेला दाखिला मना है. भारत को सीरिया बनाने की मानसिकता पाले ये मुस्लिम कट्टरपंथी कम से कम ईरान की घटनाओं से ही सबक ले लेते. एक तरफ भारत सरकार जहां बेटी बचाओ, बेटी पढ़ाओ और बेटी बढ़ाओ की नीति पर आगे बढ़ करके प्रत्येक बेटी को सबल, सक्षम, निर्भीक और स्वावलंबी बनाने के लिए लगी हुई है, तो वहीं ये इस्लामिक जिहादी तत्व जो है उन बेटियों को, जिसको ये धार्मिक स्थल कहते हैं, ऐसी जामा मस्जिद में प्रवेश से प्रतिबंधित कर रहे हैं देश की राजधानी के अंदर. वो भड़काऊ भाईजान कहां हैं भाग्यनगर के, जो कि ये सपना पाले बैठे थे कि बुर्का नसीन कोई बहन जो है देश की प्रधानमंत्री बनेगी. अरे उनको पहले मस्जिद में तो प्रवेश दिलवा दो. क्या भारत की कोई मस्जिद ऐसी है जहां पर के मुस्लिम बेटियां पुरुषों के साथ खड़े होकर के एक साथ नमाज पढ़ सकती हों, साथ में धर्मस्थलों में जा सकती हों?
And we also have activist Advita Kala also joining us. Ma'am, if I can get your thoughts. Of course, absolutely bizarre, regressive at the same time, reeks of nothing less than patriarchy when we talk about this diktat that has been passed by the Imam of the Jama Masjid.
Absolutely. It's completely regressive. It's not even in, it's not even complementary to what the Islamic texts say about worship and women's entry in the mosque. So I don't know where the Imam is gaining this knowledge from. We've had so many debates, we've had so many conversations about this, about right to prayer, especially when it comes to women having equal access to prayer sites. I think in this time and age in India of 2022, when we've dumped regressive practices and cruel practices like triple talaq, it's very important that women are treated with respect and equality, especially in matters of worship, because God does not discriminate between a man and a woman, and I don't think any human being has the right to do that.
Absolutely, and this diktat clearly mentions that if a woman will not have a male escort, they will not be allowed entry. The kind of defense also coming in from the Jama Masjid is quite bizarre. They are saying that the reason why they've put out this diktat is primarily because the women were seen making TikTok videos inside the Jama Masjid.
So stop the TikTok videos. I can understand that it's a place of worship. It can cause offense. It's a place of some level of sobriety, and that can cause offense. That I understand entirely, be it a man or a woman or anybody in a place of worship taking those kind of liberties. It can be understood why the religious bodies may not want that. But how can you ban a whole community, a whole gender of worshippers, of believers, based on the fact of being a woman. It doesn't make any sense. We have to call it out for what it is, and it's discrimination.
Thank you for speaking to us. So clearly this diktat that reeks of patriarchy, sexism, nothing else. In fact, VHP, they're saying that they should learn from Iran's protest. So people also, in fact, the women also coming to the streets and voicing their dissent. We have more reactions coming in. Our reporters there at the Jama Masjid getting us those reactions from the women and the men, of course. Let's listen into some of them.
आप लोग अकेले आए हैं?
हाँ जी।
अकेले हैं आप? अकेले आई हैं?
हाँ जी।
तो वही तो कह रहे हैं।
तो फिर नोटिस
देखिए, हमारे यहाँ जो गलत इस टाइप के लोग आ रहे हैं उनके लिए नोटिस है ये अकेले आई, कोई मना नहीं किया।
तो मतलब नोटिस को आप फिर चेंज करेंगे क्या?
नहीं, जैसे है वैसे ही रहेगा। और जो गलत लोग हैं, आज भी एंट्री हमारे यहाँ मना है उसके लिए, कल भी रहेगा, फ्यूचर में भी रहेगा।
और पुरुषों के लिए तो कोई नोटिस नहीं, वो तो साथ में कोई भी आता है।
लड़के भी है, आप किसी गेट पे आप खड़े होने पहले देख ले, हमारा दरबार हर जगह पूरी तरह एकदम एकाग्र अटेंशन है। अगर वो रोकता है तो दोनों को रोक रहा है, जोड़े को रोक रहा है।
पर आपको लगता है कि नोटिस से गलत संदेश जा रहा है? आप सोचिए, हमारे देश में जहाँ लड़कियां चांद तक पहुँच रही हैं, उनके लिए ऐसा नोटिस। और फिर अब आज हर कोई यही सवाल पूछ रहा है कि जामा मस्जिद तो आकर्षक, वैसे भी ऐतिहासिक इमारत है, सैलानी यहाँ पर पहुँचते हैं, और अगर ऐसे नोटिस लगा दिया जाएगा तो लड़कियाँ बैन हो जाएंगी। तो फिर एक सवाल उठेगा ना कि क्या लड़कियों के साथ ये दोयम दर्जे का बर्ताव क्यों हो रहा है?
आप मस्जिद के अंदर कैसे पहुँच गई? आप पहुँच गई मस्जिद के अंदर? आप भी तो लेडीज औरत हैं।
मैं तो अकेले नहीं आई।
नहीं, आप हैं तो लेडीज।
फिर नोटिस का मतलब?
नोटिस का मतलब यही है कि जो गलत लड़कियां हैं या लड़कियां हमारे यहाँ नहीं।
आप कैसे देखेंगे कि गलत है?
आदमी जितना पॉसिबल है वो करेगा। ये धार्मिक जगह है। अगर आप एहतराम नहीं करेंगे तो हम तो उसको रोकेंगे।
ये रील वील जो आप कह रहे हैं या जो भी आप प्रावधान बता रहे हैं, जो भी नियम लगा रहे हैं, वो तो आप बोर्ड वैसे भी लिख सकते थे, लेकिन वहाँ पे लड़कों का कोई।
आप सारे गेटों पर जाइए, तीनों गेट पे हमारा लगा हुआ है।
अकेली लड़की आ सकती है?
हाँ, आ रही फैमिली आ रही, आपके सामने ही
सामने आ रही है ना। मैं वही तो पूछी हूँ, अकेली लड़की
सामने कह दिया, उसी चीज़ को आप बार बार क्यों रिपीट कर रही हैं? कह दिया ना लेडीज ने, हम अकेले आए हैं।
सही है नो?
बिल्कुल सही है।
बिल्कुल। तो देखिए, ये असिस्टेंट पीआरओ अंसार हमारे साथ थे, जिनका साफ तौर पर ये कहना है कि जो नोटिस है वो इसलिए लगाया गया है कि गलत लड़कियां ना इसमें एंट्री करें। हालांकि हमने उनसे पूछा कि गलत लड़की कैसे हो सकती है, कपल के लिए वो कह रहे हैं, लेकिन सवाल वही खड़ा हो रहा है कि लड़कों के लिए कोई नोटिस नहीं। और इसीलिए लगातार कई लोग ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पर कि लड़कों का तो कहीं कोई जिक्र नहीं है। अनामिका।
So there you heard reactions coming in across the board. VHP saying that there should be a strong action taken. Now remember, the Jama Masjid has come out with this statement saying that the reason why they put out this diktat is primarily because women who were seen entering the Jama Masjid, they were seen making TikTok videos. But the question is that if women was being seen taking TikTok videos, why not those men? So there should be equal rules for all. And why this sort of a diktat which says that women need to have a chaperone with them, they need to have a male escort when they enter the Jama Masjid. We have a reaction coming in from a cleric. Let's listen into what he has to say.
देखिए, मस्जिद अल्लाह का घर है, मस्जिद इबादत की जगह है। खाना काबा के अंदर औरतें आती हैं, अब्बा हिजाब आती हैं, और मस्जिदें शबी हैं खाना काबा की, अल्लाह के घर की। मगर जो इमाम साहब ने, यानी जनाब अहमद बुखारी साहब ने जो बयान जारी किया है और जो मेरे इल्म में आया है कि लड़के और लड़की अकेले आते हैं और आके वो वहाँ मस्जिद के अंदर सेल्फ़ी लेते हैं और मस्जिद के अंदर घंटों बैठे रहते हैं और प्यार और मोहब्बत की बातें किया करते हैं। तो मस्जिद अल्लाह का घर है। जो उन्होंने इसके अंदर बयान दिया है कि अपने वालिदैन के साथ आएँ, अपने बुज़ुर्गों के साथ आएँ, नमाज़ पढ़ने आएँ, ये बात बिल्कुल सही है। मैं इसकी भरपूर तरीके से तायद करता हूँ कि मस्जिद के अंदर इबादत के वास्ते आना चाहिए। मंदिर हो, मस्जिद हो, गुरुद्वारा हो, चर्च हो, सिनेगाग हो या इमाम बाड़ा हो, कोई भी जगह हो, यहाँ के ऊपर आदमी मन की शांति के लिए आता है। यहाँ के ऊपर अगर इस तरीके से एक तफरीगाह बन गई तो उसका तकद्दुस, उसकी पवित्रता जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी। और जहाँ की पवित्रता और जहाँ का तकद्दुस पामाल हो गया, फिर वो इबादत खाना नहीं रहता।
So absolutely regressive, patriarchal to say the least when we talk about this diktat that has been passed by the Jama Masjid, which says that single women will not be allowed to enter the Jama Masjid, and if at all they have to enter, they will have to be escorted by a man. In fact, the DCW chief has also issued a notice to the Jama Masjid in which the DCW chief has stated, and I quote once again, that the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. As much as a man has a right to worship, so does a woman. I'm issuing a notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid. No one has the right to ban the entry of women like this. Now, women also coming to the streets and saying that this is outright regressive and that this should not happen. The reason, and of course the Jama Masjid, they're saying that the reason why they've issued such a diktat is primarily because women were seen making TikTok videos inside the Jama Masjid. Well, that's the statement that has come in from the Jama Masjid. Absolutely ridiculous, regressive, patriarchal, to say the least, when we talk about this diktat, which says that women will have to be escorted by a man when they enter the Jama Masjid. In fact, the VHP is saying that they should learn from the Iran protest. So VHP also coming down heavily on this diktat that has been passed by the Jama Masjid, which restricts entry of single women inside the Jama Masjid. Well, we'll try to go across to our reporters as well who are there at the Jama Masjid to get us more reactions, to get us more voices on how the women are really coming out and saying that this is absolutely unacceptable. Remains to be seen what the Jama Masjid really says next. But for now, what they are saying essentially is that the reason why they've come out with this diktat is because women were saying that the reason why they've come out with this diktat is because women were seen making TikTok videos. We also have Shivangi joining us from the Delhi newsroom. Shivangi, if you could talk to us more about the kind of voices we are getting from the Jama Masjid, what are the women really saying, and also the men about this diktat, which is absolutely ridiculous, that has been passed by the Jama Masjid.
Right. Well, the first thing I would like to say is that Samiksha, that DCW Chief Swati Maliwal has issued a notice to Imam of Jama Masjid saying no one has a right to ban entry of women like this. So, in a way, this is being seen as a very regressive step being taken. And all our viewers can see the signboard. Such a big signboard there, a huge signboard which clearly reads that women, single women, are not allowed entry inside the masjid. In fact, no one has a right to ban women like this. A big question right now, and Swati Maliwal also raising it, that no one has a right to ban women like this. Of course, we'll be going across to our reporters as well who are on ground to get more reactions, Samiksha, but this is a very, very big move being made. Now, the DCW chief has said in a Twitter post, the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. As much as a man has a right, very, very important, as much as a man has a right to worship, so do women. I'm issuing the notice to the Imam of Jama Masjid. So the notice has gone as well. And the thing is that we should talk about how women, and we're talking about Muslim women as well, women as a whole, but particularly Muslim women all around the world are fighting for their rights. We saw those anti-hijab protests take place in Iran as well. Remember how women were chopping their hair. They were also, removing their hijab and saying that we cannot be controlled like this. This is not what we want. We want our rights as humans. We want our rights as citizens, and we want our rights as women. And so as women across the world, Muslim women particularly, coming out and demanding their rights, this kind of signboard in front of Jama Masjid is not in a very good taste, Samiksha. And of course, the Muslim women they're battling for their rights all over the world. The famous Jama Masjid in New Delhi has taken an unusual step to prohibit girls from entering the mosque. The Jama Masjid management has issued the order preventing single or small groups of girls from entering this mosque, Samiksha.
Yes, I'll just come back to you. We have Maulana Shahabuddin Razvi also joining us on the phone line. If I can get your response, what do you have to say about this diktat which reeks of nothing less than patriarchy, which restricts ban of entry of single women inside the Jama Masjid, and the fact that they will no longer be allowed to enter the Jama Masjid without a male colleague?
देखिए, जो शाही इमाम जामा मस्जिद के हैं मौलाना सैयद अहमद बुखारी साहब, और उन्होंने जो फैसला किया है बिल्कुल सही फैसला है, उनका दुरुस्त है, क्योंकि शरीयत इस्लामिया की रोशनी में अगर कहा जाए तो मस्जिद में और दरगाहों पर, मज़ारों पर औरतों की हाज़िरी या उनका दाखिला जो है वो पहले से ही ममनू है। ये नई बात नहीं है, और पहले से ही जो है वो मना किया गया है कि मस्जिदों में औरतें ना आएँ, मज़ारों पर, दरगाहों पर औरतें ना आएँ। ये पहले से कहा गया है, मगर उन्होंने बाज़ाब्ता तौर पर इस तरीके से एक बोर्ड लगा करके आगाह कर दिया। ये अच्छा कदम उन्होंने उठाया, क्योंकि जहाँ पर बेपर्दगी के साथ में मजहबी मुक़द्दस मकामात पर बेपर्दगी के साथ में ख़वातीन आती जाती हैं, तो वहाँ पर बहुत सारे मसाइल जो है वो उठ खड़े होते हैं। और तारीख में अगर आप जाके देखें, इस्लामी तारीख पर नज़र डालें, तो अहद नबवी यानी पैगम्बर इस्लाम सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम के ज़माने में औरतें मस्जिद में आती थी, मगर जब शिकायतें जो है वो पैगम्बर इस्लाम पर पहुंची तो पैगम्बर इस्लाम ने औरतों को मस्जिद में आने से मना कर दिया और ये हुक्म दिया कि औरतें अपने घरों पे नमाज पढ़ें और अपने घरों पर ही इबादत करें, और जितना सवाब उनको मस्जिद में आने से मिलता है उतना ही सवाब उनको घर पे नमाज पढ़ने या इबादत करने से मिलेगा। तो ये कोई नया उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया है, उन्होंने वही किया है जो शरीयत कहती है, और बिल्कुल उनका फैसला दुरुस्त है। मैं उनके फैसले की हिमायत करता हूँ।
All right, Maulana Shahabuddin there speaking to us, and he's saying that he's welcoming the step that has been taken by the Jama Masjid, saying that women must not be allowed to enter the Jama Masjid. So that's the word coming in from Shahabuddin, the Maulana. We'll slip into a very short break for now, but on the other side, we'll continue to get you more news breaks and all that's making news from across the country. Indian Army sacrifice mocked, insulted and justified as Bollywood actor Richa Chadha now faces boycott call. She's forced to apologize. And sensational details emerge as Mangaluru blast probe gets bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund the blasts.
दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं आ रही है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
सर्कल्स में बातचीत चल रही है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर। क्या आम आदमी पार्टी एक फैक्टर है इस बार?
मीडिया में जरूर है। गुजरात में जब मैं 50% से ज्यादा मत प्राप्त कर रहा हूं, तब वोट कितना और कहां बढ़ता है इसके कोई मायने नहीं रहते। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार 50% से ज्यादा वोट प्राप्त करने जा रही है।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed the jailed minister Satyendra Jain. In these pictures, given food of his choice. In the application, he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal murder. Keshav, who is just 25 years of age, was a drug addict, has murdered 4 of his family members.
According to the information that has been provided by police PRO, that it was a mass shooting that happened in a Virginia Walmart, and according to the information that it's multiple people have been reported dead.
कांग्रेस का प्रभाव कम हो रहा है, कांग्रेस की इंपैक्ट कम हो रही है, और वो जो वैक्यूम है वो कौन उसको फिल करेंगे?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी फील कर सकती है। हर बार जनता ऑल्टरनेटिव नहीं ढूंढती है।
आप कह रहे हैं कि आपकी फाइट कांग्रेस पार्टी के साथ। कांग्रेस को प्रिंसिपल ऑपोजिशन क्यों कह रहे हैं गुजरात?
क्योंकि वो है। मैं स्पेकुलेशन के आधार पर तो नहीं कर सकता। जमीनी हकीकत में वो है।
CCTV
में बातचीत चल रही है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर। क्या आम आदमी पार्टी एक फैक्टर है इस बार?
मीडिया में जरूर है। गुजरात में जब मैं 50% से ज्यादा मत प्राप्त कर रहा हूं, तब वोट कितना और कहां बढ़ता है इसके कोई मायने नहीं रहते। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार 50% से ज्यादा वोट प्राप्त करने जा रही है।
And sexist diktat by Jama Masjid. Single women's right to pray now blocked.
Going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
Women's right to protest blocked by Jama Masjid. Uproar over move. Indian Army's sacrifice mocked and insulted and justified as Bollywood actor Richa Chadha faces boycott call. She's been forced to apologize. Sensational details emerge as Mangaluru blast probe gets bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund blasts in Karnataka. All right, and this is the latest that is coming in after actor Richa Chadha was forced to apologize. She's come under massive fire over her tweet on social media where she insulted the forces, saying Galwan says hi. After that response that came in of the initial tweet where the Indian Army said that they are absolutely ready to take over POK if the government gives an order.
सिटीजन्स का फर्ज बनता है कि उसके अगेंस्ट सारी लॉफुल एजेंसीज को कंप्लेंट करें ताकि इनके अगेंस्ट एक्शन लिया जाए। एज अ सिटीज़न भारतीय होने के नाते किसी को हक नहीं बनता है कि हमारे सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस को मॉक करें, उनका मजाक उड़ाएं, उनके बारे में अपशब्द कहें। ऋचा चड्ढा ने जिस तरीके से गलवन वैली में हमारे सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने जिस तरीके से जान दी थी, उसका जो मजाक उड़ाया, भद्दा मजाक उड़ाया, उसने काफ़ी डिस्टर्ब किया हम लोगों को। मुझे काफ़ी तकलीफ़ हुई है और मेरे तरह देश के काफ़ी लोगों के जिस तरीके से सोशल मीडिया पे रिएक्शन आया है, ये चीज़ें अलाउ नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो इसलिए मैं पुलिस स्टेशन आया और मैं लॉ इन्फोर्सिंग एजेंसी है पुलिस स्टेशन, मेरा लोकल पुलिस स्टेशन है। मैंने एक लेटर दिया है कि इसके अगेंस्ट एक लॉफुली एक्शन लेना चाहिए, इसके अगेंस्ट FIR फाइल होनी चाहिए ताकि एक मैसेज जाए उन लोगों पे कि आप इस तरीके से मजाक नहीं उड़ा सकते हैं सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का। आप ये कहना चाह रही हैं कि हमारी हैसियत ही नहीं है सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की कि वो POK को अपने साथ लें और वो लड़ाई जंग जीते, तो आपको तो हक ही नहीं बनता है सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के बारे में। और ये सिर्फ सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस जो जिन्होंने जाने दिए हैं, जो प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं हमारे हम लोगों को, पूरे देश को, आपको, ये उनके लिए नहीं, ये बेइज्जती उनके परिवार की भी है क्योंकि उनके परिवार ने जो है वो अपने घर का एक लाल खोया हुआ है। तो मैं और अपील भी करता हूँ हमारी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से, टेलीविज़न इंडस्ट्री से कि पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे कम से कम आकर ये भद्दे मजाक को कंडेम करें ताकि लोग हम पर उंगली ना उठाएं और उनका जो रोष है हमारी इंडस्ट्री के खिलाफ वो जस्टिफाई ना हो पाए।
FIR दर्ज हो चुकी है?
नहीं, अभी तो मैंने कंप्लेंट फाइल किया, पुलिस अपने हिसाब से लॉफुली जो जिस तरीके से वो फाइल करना चाहेगी वो करेगी, इसके अगेंस्ट एक्शन लेगी। मैं एज अ सिटीज़न मेरा फ़र्ज़ बनता था पुलिस में कंप्लेंट करने के लिए कि एक्शन शुड बी टेकन। बाकी काम पुलिस का है, किस तरीके से करें, क्या करें और क्यों करें।
एक और सवाल पंडित जी, ऋचा ने माफ़ी भी नामा भी लिखा है। उन्होंने खुद ये कहा है कि मेरे नाना जी भी आर्मी में थे, मेरे मामू थे, रिश्तेदार थे जिन्होंने पैर में गोली भी खाई है 62 की।
ये सारी चीज़ें इनको ट्वीट करने के पहले याद करनी चाहिए थी। आपने ये सारी चीज़ें इनको ट्वीट करने के पहले याद रखनी चाहिए थी। जिसने भद्दा मजाक उड़ाया सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का, अब इनको नाना भी याद आ रहे हैं, अपने मामा भी याद आ रहे हैं। ये ट्वीट करने के पहले क्यों नहीं याद आए? अब जब लोगों का रोष सामने आया है तो ये अपोलोजाइज़ करने की कोशिश कर रही है और बहुत ही बचकाना तरीके से ये अपोलोजाइज़ कर रही है। अपोलोजाइजेशन का कोई मतलब नहीं, कोई मकसद नहीं है। आपने शूट कर दिया है, आपने गोली चला दी है और आपने एक किस्म से हत्या की है, तो वो गोली घूम के वापस नहीं आएगी। आपने देश के खिलाफ एक स्टेटमेंट इशू किया क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेज जो है वो कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करती है, उनके खिलाफ उनका भद्दा मजाक उड़ाकर आपने कंट्री को डिप्यूट किया और आपने कंट्री के खिलाफ एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटी है मेरे हिसाब से।
सर इंग्लिश में जानना चाहेंगे कि आफ्टर द रिचा चड्ढा स्टेटमेंट you are filing the complaint against her, what will you say on that?
I as a citizen of this country felt very hurt, and with me there are lakhs and lakhs of people who have felt hurt looking at the social media with this obnoxious anti-national statement of actress Richa Chadha. I strongly condemn it, and that's why I thought as a citizen I should make a police complaint against her. She should, I have appealed to the police that an FIR should be filed against her, and lawfully action should be taken against her, because nobody can get away by mocking our security forces. She has mocked the families of the security forces who have laid down their lives at Galwan, and the way they fought for the country. In fact, she's also, if she's also alive, and she's abusing our security forces, she's alive because of the security forces. They are protecting you. So it becomes my utmost duty to file a complaint against her, so that action should be taken, and nobody can get away, by mocking and making fun of our security forces. We respect them. We respect their families who have contributed to the country and who are protecting it. When you see the dead bodies of the security forces coming to their families and the way the families react, the way the families cry, they scream, they shout, I think this statement of hers, this mockery of hers, should not be taken lying low. And I appeal to my film and television industry to, at least on the social media, condemn this obnoxious act of, anti-national act of Richa Chadha, so that tomorrow if people of this country react against the industry, there should be no justifications as far as condemnation is concerned. So I'm sure the industry, bigwigs, people in the industry, technicians will react to this and condemn this statement of hers, so that this act from the industry is not repeated anymore.
All right, so that's the response coming in from Ashok Pandit, filmmaker. And remember, once again, the silence of Bollywood, by and large, not speaking against Richa Chadha, but she was forced to issue an apology after the backlash that she faced on this very tweet that she had put out, where there were very many responses of how she's hurt the families of martyrs and she's insulted the Indian Army. And we are shifting our focus to the big story that is dominating the headlines at this hour, after the Imam of Jama Masjid has put out notices across Jama Masjid, where he has ordered to ban the entry of a single woman or even women in groups not accompanied by a man to not be allowed to enter the Jama Masjid. This very patriarchal diktat that has now escalated a whole new controversy. And remember, no response coming in from the Imam yet. This as the Delhi Commission of Women has taken up the matter. Swati Maliwal has sent out a notice to the Imam saying that women have the right to worship, and the decision to stop the entry of women is absolutely wrong. Let's listen into the reactions that have come in so far.
I don't think it's a right decision, because in our Islam it's never allowed, and it's authentic as per Hadith as well, where we have been told that accompany your woman at night if she wants to go to masjid. So I don't think it's appropriate or it's a right decision to ban a woman going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
As far as the Jama Masjid the issue is concerned, whatever the Imam Sahib of the Jama Masjid has issued instructions regarding the people going to see or do prayer or offer namaz in Jama Masjid, it is as per the Shariat. And you all know, all people know that all places of worship are basically for worshipping, and masjid is also to offer namaz. So the sanctity of the masjid must be maintained. And whether it is a boy or girl, man or woman, whoever is visiting mosque, he or she must follow all the instruction so that nobody have any objection in visiting mosque by anyone.
भारत की बेटियों को जो लोग 3 तलाक, हलाला, हिजाब और काले बोरे में कैद करने की मानसिकता की ठेकेदारी करते हैं, वो लोग उन बेटियों को मदरसा में भेजने की तो वकालत करते हैं जो इस्लामिक सेक्स गैंग के अड्डे बन रहे हैं, लेकिन मस्जिद में लट्ठ लेके खड़े हो जाते हैं कि नहीं, मस्जिद में लड़की या लड़कियों को के अकेला दाखिला मना है।
And Sunil Singh from the JDU now joining us on the phone line. Sunil Singh, your response on this very patriarchal diktat by the Imam of Jama Masjid banning the entry of women unless they are accompanied by a male chaperone. Where do you stand on this?
Actually, we are for women empowerment. We are for equality among women. But as this matter is concerned, I think there should be a fair discussion and awareness in the Muslim masses, so that women are not banned to enter masjid. That shouldn't, everything cannot be forced as per law. Something should be come out of discussion. If there is something lacking in somebody's society, the discussion should be within the society. The intellectuals should undertake a discussion and awareness should be within the society. We cannot force as per law. So in this matter also, we are for women having equal rights and women should go to the masjid. But then yes, everything cannot be forced as per law. The awareness among the intellectuals should come from the Muslim masses. The Muslims should decide and they should see to it that women enter, women get the equal right. Not only in entering the masjid, women should be going with the equal right, and women empowerment is primary focus area, and we are for that. Yes.
Absolutely. And when the same is allowed at Haji, at Umrah, at many other Islamic worship places, and why is it that Jama Masjid Imam is issuing such a diktat? I want to thank you for speaking to us this afternoon. Gayatri from Republic Bharat is standing at Jama Masjid at this point. Gayatri, if I can speak to you, and you're trying to get more voices from there, what exactly are women saying? Because as far as the administration is concerned, the only justification they've given out is that because women make TikTok videos at Jama Masjid, so they've banned them from doing so. But this is absolutely bizarre. This cuts no ice, because that could be done by men, that could be done by women who are even accompanied with men. I mean, what sort of a notice is this, and how is it people on the ground are reacting?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, देखिए यही सवाल हमने भी पूछा था जामा मस्जिद के जो असिस्टेंट पीआरओ हैं उनसे हमने पूछा था। लेकिन सबसे पहले हम वो बोर्ड दिखाएंगे। देखिए जो जामा मस्जिद के तीनों गेटों पर लगा गया है, जो पट्टी जामा मस्जिद के तीनों गेटों पर लगी है, सबसे पहले हम अपने दर्शकों को वो दिखाएंगे जिस पर साफ तौर पर लिखा है कि जो अकेली लड़कियां हैं, जो अकेली लड़की अगर यहाँ पर पहुंचती है, ये देखिए ये पट्टी हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं गेट नंबर 3 पर इस वक्त हम मौजूद है, और ये पट्टी यहाँ पर लगाई हुई है, जामा मस्जिद में लड़की या लड़कियों का अकेले दाखिला मना है। इसको लेकर हमने सवाल पूछा तो साफ तौर पर कहा कि जिस तरीके से टिकटॉक बनाए जाते हैं उसको लेकर ये बैन लगाया गया है। हमारे साथ इस वक्त RWA जामा मस्जिद जनरल सेक्रेटरी सलमान कुरैशी इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद है। आइए उनसे बात करते हैं। ये जो बोर्ड लगाया गया सलमान कुरैशी, इसका मतलब क्या है, क्योंकि कई सवाल उठ रहे हैं इसको लेकर।
देखिए यहाँ पर क्या था कि हमारी मीटिंग हुई थी इमाम साहब से इस बात को लेकर के, क्योंकि यहाँ पर इस बोर्ड से पहले कुछ हरकतें यहाँ पर हो रही थी और वो बहुत वायरल हुई थी। आपने भी देखा होगा टिकटॉक पर वीडियोस वायरल हो रही थी, मस्जिद की बेहुरमती हो रही थी, लोग यहाँ आकर बहुत पर्सनल हो रहे थे और गुलाब का फूल तो ऐसे पेश कर रहे थे जैसे ये पिकनिक
ये तो अगर कोई किसी अगर लड़कियाँ पुरुषों के साथ भी जाती है तो वो तो अंदर जाकर वो भी ये कर सकती हैं, टिकटॉक बना सकते हैं, रील्स बना सकते हैं।
मैं बता देता हूँ, किसी भी इबादत
for the moment. Zeenat Shaukat Ali is also with me on the phone line. Zeenat, are you angry over this order? Is it hurtful as a Muslim woman to be told that you cannot enter the Jama Masjid, and that very bizarre explanation coming in that because women make TikTok videos inside, so we are not allowing them? I mean, that makes no sense, Zeenat.
I think you're absolutely 100% right. Why men don't make videos? It's why should always the onus come on women? You see, this is the very sad part of it, that if a man is making a video, still the blame will come that the woman is making the video. So the whole point of this discussion seems to be utterly meaningless and very misogynistic, and some excuse to keep the women out. There is nothing else that I can see in it, because neither Islam encourages women to encourages women's spirituality. It gives the same rewards to those who pray in this, whether you, cutting across both genders. It gives you equal dignity cutting across genders. So what is this, the meaning? In the Kaaba, women go to pray, which is the first mosque of Islam. In the Masjid al-Nabawi, people go to, men and women pray. There may be different sections. In Saudi Arabia, in the African countries, in Indonesia and the Southeast Asia, all women go to the mosque to pray, and nobody has come out with this kind of a story. So the whole point becomes that you deliberately want to have a patriarchal and misogynistic mindset, and you want to inflict it with women and disturb women's spirituality. When you go to a mosque, the intention there is to pray. You see, the intention is to become spiritually, submissive to God. The whole point is that, when you bring about arguments like this discouraging women, you're keeping women behind, and you're always differentiating and always discriminating, which has nothing to do with Islam, unfortunately.
Absolutely, it is, Zeenat, because in the modern day world where women stand in par with men, and not just that, they're superseding men in so many areas, even in those countries where women are being suppressed in the name of religion. But today, women are standing for their rights. In countries where they are so suppressed, they are standing for the very fact that they cannot be forced to put on the veil. And at a time like this in India, where we've moved on from such a mindset, from such an ideology, where we allow that space to women, we see an imam passing an order of this nature, stopping the entry of women.
I totally agree. It's really sad. It's totally tragic, and I think that it is something, an order that it has to be overcome. They have to, I'm sure that at some stage they're going to take this order back, because it's not going to work. Women's organizations are going to stand and voice their opinions that this is very patriarchal, misogynistic, and, unacceptable.
I'm sure, Zeenat, they will have to make a turnaround on that. We'll track every response very, very closely. For the moment, thank you for joining us. We continue to stay put on this story. For the moment, we also have to slip into a very short commercial break. A quick check of what's lined up on the other side. Sensational details emerge as Bengaluru blast probe is getting bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency is being used to fund blasts in Karnataka.
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं, उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं, और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में 1960 से प्राथमिक शिक्षा फ्री है। वोट देते वक्त सब लोग अपना माइंड भी अप्लाई करते हैं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी देखते हैं और विश्वसनीयता भी देखते हैं।
Huge number of government employees are on the street. There's a ruckus on the street. Their demand about increasing the DA. This is one of the important issues here in West Bengal.
A gruesome murder case of Shraddha. In fact, a video has now surfaced where the video is from those days when Shraddha was studying BMM. 2 blasts went off near bus stops in Jerusalem, injuring at least 14 people in what police said were suspected attacks by Palestinians.
दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed, the jailed Minister Satyendra Jain in these pictures given food of his choice. In the application he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal murder. Keshav, who is just 25 years of age, was a drug addict, has murdered 4 of his family members.
According to the information that has been provided by police PRO, that it was a mass shooting that happened in a Virginia Walmart, and according to the information that it's multiple people have been reported dead.
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं, उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं। और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में 1960 से प्राथमिक शिक्षा फ्री है। वोट देते वक्त सब लोग अपना माइंड भी अप्लाई करते हैं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी देखते हैं और विश्वसनीयता भी देखते हैं।
Huge number of government employees are on the street. There's a ruckus on the street. Their demand about increasing the DA. This is one of the important issues here in West Bengal.
The gruesome murder case of Shraddha. In fact, a video has now surfaced where the video is from those days when Shraddha was studying BMM. 2 blasts went off near bus stops in Jerusalem, injuring at least 14 people in what police said were suspected attacks by Palestinians.
दिनों में चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं आ रही है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed, the jailed Minister Satyendra Jain in these pictures given food of his choice. In the application he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was
Crackdown on terror in the Kashmir Valley continues as the SIA, State Investigating Agency, is conducting raids in Anantnag, Shopian and also in Pulwama and other districts of the Kashmir Valley. The search is related to the terror funding in the Kashmir Valley. As far as the Shopian raids are concerned, the BDC and the DDC members, their residents were frisked. Similarly, one of the advocates working in the courts of the Srinagar, his place is being raided, and also we are seeing the raids in the Pandret and Srinagar and the other places. The police is maintaining that they have certain leads as far as the terror funding in the Kashmir Valley is concerned, and on the basis of getting the leads from the different sources, now the searches are being done. Although SIA is working very hard in the Kashmir Valley as far as to uncover the terror network in the Kashmir Valley. Many people were also arrested. The terror hideouts were also busted, and meanwhile SIA last time sealed the properties of Jamaat-e-Islami in South Kashmir. So we can say overall that people and the government is really looking to take the terror network out from the Kashmir Valley so that there is no bloodshed and the law and order is maintained in the valley. With Vijay Firdoswani, I'm Zina Zishan Fazil for Republic in Srinagar.
Time now for a short break. On the other side, Shraddha murder probe widens as killer Aaftab's polygraph test is underway.
लोहिया सीट के रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल,
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूँ कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूं कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा के मुद्दे पर एक सवाल मेरा ये है कि जो आपने आइडियोलॉजी की बात कही और आप गृह मंत्री है देश के, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो आईसिस आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है, इसको बिल्कुल इस प्रॉब्लम को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए?
आईसिस की आइडियोलॉजी हो या जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी हो या पीएफआई पहले जो अपनी प्रवृत्तियां करता था वो हो, जिस दिन कोई भी विचार, कोई भी संगठन, कोई भी गतिविधि इस देश की इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए खतरा बनेगी, इसको हम सहन नहीं करेंगे और बहुत दृढ़ता के साथ इसको क्रश करेंगे।
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं, उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में 1960 से प्राथमिक शिक्षा फ्री है। वोट देते वक्त सब लोग अपना माइंड भी अप्लाई करते हैं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी देखते हैं और विश्वसनीयता भी देखते हैं।
And cutting across to breaking news, coming an investigation into the cash seized from Congress Party's vehicle in Surat is being conducted by the Income Tax and the Enforcement Directorate. Now, Republic has been able to access the CCTV footage of Sandeep running away from the spot where that car had been seized. And Congress is still maintaining that the car does not belong to the party. There were at least 75 lakh rupees that were seized from that car, which allegedly belongs to the Congress Party. Authorities have a reason to suspect foul play since the day of the seizure when Rahul Gandhi had arrived in Surat and this car was seized by the Election Commission. Now an investigation that is underway in this matter. That CCTV footage on your screens right now where this car allegedly belongs to the Congress Party. An investigation being conducted by the Income Tax and Enforcement Directorate. And they're looking into details of whether this car belongs to the Congress Party and what about the 75 lakh rupees that was seized from this car. On that note, it's time for us to slip into a very short commercial break. On the other side, we're getting you a big Republic Bangla exclusive news break. Stand by for all the details for this big story.
इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा नो मनी नो टेरर वाली बात आपने कही, तो इस पर जितने हमारे दर्शक है और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर दर्शक है वो जानना चाहते हैं कि इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है।
जहाँ तक देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा और बाह्य सुरक्षा का सवाल है, किसी भी खतरे के लिए हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति बरकरार रहेगी और दृढ़ता के साथ आगे बढ़ेगी और भारत सरकार की सारी एजेंसियां बड़ी मुस्तैदी के साथ भारत की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को मजबूत करने के लिए पैनी नजर रखकर सजग हैं।
पहले आप वीर सावरकर को लेकर कुछ भी कह सकते थे। जो लोग हिंदुत्व में विश्वास रखते हैं वो पहले से ज्यादा असर्टिव हो गए हैं।
हमारी पार्टी के विचार, हम सब के विचार, देश का इतिहास, इस सबको साइड पर रखकर उनकी दादी के भी स्टेटमेंट पढ़ लेते तो उनको मालूम पड़ता। वीर सावरकर के जीवन को आप पूरी बारीकी से देखेंगे तो हिंदू संस्कृति, भारतीय संस्कृति के लिए उनका पक्ष और एक मजबूत विचार एक डायमेंशन है।
सीट की रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूँ। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल।
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूँ कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूँ कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
Viewers, it's time for Superfast 50. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Let's get started. Richa Chadha has now been, in fact, facing backlash online for mocking India's Galwan martyrs in response to Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi's comments. Responding to a post on the Statement of Intent, Chadha wrote, Galwan says hi. Bollywood actor Richa Chadha has been forced to apologize after facing criticism for insulting and mocking the Indian Army in her latest tweet. This comes after the actor reacted to the statement of Northern Army Commander that the Indian Army is ready to take back the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The actor also locked her Twitter account after social media users started trolling her for insulting and mocking the security forces. A complaint has been filed against Bollywood actor Richa Chadha on Thursday over an outrageous tweet insulting and mocking the Indian Army and specifically the Galwan martyrs. Supreme Court advocate Vinny Jindal has filed a complaint against Richa Chadha, stating that the Bollywood actor has mocked the sacrifice of the Indian Army soldiers at the Galwan Valley. All out anger across nation against Richa Chadha for outrageous post mocking India's Galwan martyrs. The filmmaker Ashok Pandit has also filed a complaint against the Bollywood actor.
आप इस तरीके से मजाक नहीं उड़ा सकते सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का। आप ये कहना चाह रही हैं कि हमारी हैसियत ही नहीं है सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की कि वो पीओके को अपने साथ लें और वो लड़ाई जंग जीते। तो आपको तो हक ही नहीं बनता है सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के बारे में। और ये सिर्फ सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस जिन्होंने जाने दिए हैं, जो प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं हमारे हम लोगों को, पूरे देश को, आपको, ये उनके लिए नहीं, ये बेइज्जती उनके परिवार की भी है, क्योंकि उनके परिवार ने जो है वो अपने घर का एक लाल खोया हुआ है। तो मैं और अपील भी करता हूँ हमारी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से, टेलीविज़न इंडस्ट्री से कि पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे कम से कम आकर ये भद्दे मजाक को कंडेम करें, ताकि लोग हम पर उंगली ना उठाएं और उनका जो रोष है हमारी इंडस्ट्री के खिलाफ वो जस्टिफाई ना हो पाए।
An unprecedented diktat by the New Delhi Jama Masjid administration has sparked controversy. Delhi's Jama Masjid has decided to bar the entry of women without men inside the mosque premises. Now, the development comes after Jama Masjid administration issued an order prohibiting the entry of solitary or groups of women in the mosque. Very shocking move. A notice was put out outside Delhi's Jama Masjid. According to the notice, entry of women who are alone and women in groups banned in Jama Masjid. Soon after the controversial diktat of Delhi's Jama Masjid, VHP has lambasted the Masjid Authority. VHP leader has stated that the Masjid Authority must learn from the ongoing anti-hijab protest in Iran.
भारत की लगभग 20% बेटियों को जो लोग 3 तलाक, हलाला, हिजाब और काले बोरे में कैद करने की मानसिकता की ठेकेदारी करते हैं, वो लोग उन बेटियों को मदरसों में भेजने की तो वकालत करते हैं जो इस्लामिक सेक्स गैंग के अड्डे बन रहे हैं, लेकिन मस्जिद में लट्ठ लेके खड़े हो जाते हैं कि नहीं, मस्जिद में लड़की या लड़कियों को के अकेला दाखिला मना है। भारत को सीरिया बनाने की मानसिकता पाले।
Days after the assembly polls in Gujarat, BJP has escalated its campaign and deployed Top Gun in the poll-bound state. PM Modi is on a 2-day visit to the state.
नरेंद्र भाई तुम आगे बढ़ो, नरेंद्र भाई तुम आगे बढ़ो, नरेंद्र भाई तुम आगे बढ़ो।
While campaigning in Gujarat, in fact, campaign in Gujarat has JP Nadda speaking exclusively to Republic TV's Ashira Kapoor has dismissed the Aam Aadmi Party factor.
कर लिया, एक तरफा है. इतने साल ऐश्वर्य भाई, मैं इतने साल से राजनीति का कार्यकर्ता के रूप में काम कर रहा हूँ. यह चुनाव एक तरफा दिख रहा है. मुझे तो कार्यकर्ताओं को बोलना पड़ रहा है कि भाई एकदम तुम कॉम्प्लेसेंट मत हो जाना. आप आ रही है ये वो, इनका रिकॉर्ड क्या है? ये बैनर बेस्ड पार्टी है, ये एडवर्टीजमेंट बेस्ड पार्टी है.
The startling unfolding of events now. Startling unfolding of events. Mangaluru blast probe has taken an interesting turn as the sources have said that the central agencies are now probing the funding behind the blast. Reports say the Sharik and his handlers used a cryptocurrency and dark web to make transactions and receive funds online for blasts in Shimoga and Mysuru. Sharik, who used multiple Aadhaar cards, traded in bitcoins and received funding online from the Middle East. The Delhi High Court issued a notice to Vijay Nair and Hyderabad-based businessman Abhishek Bonpalli on CBI plea challenging a trial court order granting them bail. Both Vijay Nair and Abhishek Bonpalli are key accused in Delhi liquor scam controversy. PM Modi lauded the Goa government in its step toward providing jobs to the youth via the distribution of appointment letters to the new recruits. The Prime Minister said that the step will strengthen the Goa police, further enhancing the convenience of the people, especially tourists. Lieutenant General Asim Munir was on Thursday appointed as the new Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan, ending weeks of intense speculation, political tussle in the country. General Bajwa, 61 years old, is slated to retire next week after a 3-year extension. The State Investigation Agency has conducted raids in Kishtwar area of the Jammu and Kashmir area. The raids in connection with Pakistan's module of terror recruitment using cyberspace and providing logistic support to terrorists. Now, the SIA, Jammu and Kashmir Police, CRPF and Army were also part of those raids. Telangana Minister Malla Reddy booked for snatching laptop, mobile phone and other evidences from income tax officer. On Tuesday, income tax officials had conducted raids at various locations, including the residence of State Minister Malla Reddy in Secunderabad. Incident of firing upon a woman was reported in Murlipura PS area of Rajasthan, Jaipur. Now, the victim has now been admitted to a hospital and her condition is stable. According to Rajasthan police, a complaint has been filed against her in-laws. It has come to the knowledge that their relatives were unhappy with the marriage. A huge package has been dropped in Samba sector of Jammu and Kashmir via drone from Pakistan. The consignment found in Swanka area of Vijaypur. Security personnel rushed to the spot and recovered IED, pistols and 9 packets of cash. Fugitive diamond merchant Nirav Modi has now filed an application in the High Court in London seeking permission to appeal against its extradition order in the Supreme Court. A 51-year-old diamond heir lost an appeal on mental health grounds earlier this month when a 2-judge High Court bench ruled that his risk of suicide was not such that it would be either unjust or oppressive to extradite him to India to face charges of fraud and money laundering in the estimated $2 billion Punjab National Bank loan scam case. High Court of Gujarat has pulled up Gujarat government. The court has stated that the government needs to do a thorough check of all bridges and to do a survey on the condition of bridges. They're also to submit the fitness certification for the bridges, and the procedure for maintenance will also to be filed before the High Court. Mamata Banerjee-led TMC government in West Bengal has been facing the heat over the disparity in DA of the state government employees. The government employees have now staged mega protests in the streets of Kolkata. Delhi court has deferred the hearing of the alleged money laundering case involving actress Jacqueline Fernandez and conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar case for December 12th. The actress had appeared at the Patiala House Court today in the morning hours for a hearing in the 200 crore money laundering case involving conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. Governor Koshyari will leave for Delhi on November 24th afternoon and return on November 25th. He is expected to meet the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, and Home Minister Amit Shah. Meghalaya CM has now led a cabinet delegation will now meet Amit Shah, and yesterday the CM had met the family members of the victims of the firing that took place along the Assam-Meghalaya border. UP State Yogi Adityanath to visit Prayagraj to address a gathering at the parade ground and facilitate tourists attending month-long Kashi Tamil Sangamam being held in Varanasi. Assam government has requested the central government for a CBI probe into firing incident in the area called Mukro along the Assam-Meghalaya border. The CBI probe demand comes a day after 6 people were killed in the firing incident. Even as the row over Richa Chadha's taunt controversy continues, Bollywood fraternity chooses to remain silent. Not a single Bollywood representative has commented on the issue. Meanwhile, Richa has refused to apologize. In fact, she has now put a statement out and she has said that she did not mean the tweet of her mocking India's martyrs. Meanwhile, the Muslim cleric have supported the move. They have put their argument that taking selfies and pictures inside the prayer room affects the sanctity of a place. Hence, this decision of saying that single women cannot go inside Jama Masjid has been made.
वो मस्जिद इबादत की जगह है। खाना काबा के अंदर औरतें आती हैं, अब्बा हिजाब आती हैं और मस्जिदें शबी हैं खाना काबा की, अल्लाह के घर की। मगर जो इमाम साहब ने यानी जनाब अहमद बुखारी साहब ने जो बयान जारी किया है और जो मेरे इल्म में आया है कि लड़के और लड़की अकेले आते हैं और आके वो वहाँ मस्जिद के अंदर सेल्फ़ी लेते हैं और मस्जिद के अंदर घंटों बैठे रहते हैं और प्यार और मोहब्बत की बातें किया करते हैं। तो मस्जिद अल्लाह का घर है। जो उन्होंने इसके अंदर बयान दिया है कि अपने वालिदैन के साथ आएँ, अपने बुज़ुर्गों के साथ आएँ, नमाज़ पढ़ने आएँ, ये बात बिल्कुल सही है। मैं इसकी भरपूर तरीके से तायद करता हूँ।
A shocking abuse of power by the MLS workers slapped the manager of a hotel in Navi Mumbai for not playing Marathi songs. Former Karnataka CM and Janata Dal secular leader H.D. Kumaraswamy stated that his party is open to electing a Muslim leader. State's chief minister of his party comes to power in the upcoming 2023 assembly elections. He further added that Muslims are also an integral part of the society and they're also Kannadiga. The big achievement for the Indian Navy, the second ship of the Project 15B stealth-guided missile destroyers that was built in the Shipbuilders Limited of Mazgaon was delivered to Indian Navy today. The contract for 4 ships of Project 15B was signed on January 28 in the year 2011. The backdrop of the current Russia-Ukraine crisis, UN Security Council members have appealed to Russia to stop attacking Ukraine after Moscow recently unleashed a new missile onslaught on Ukraine's battered energy grid, robbing cities of power, some of the water and public transport too. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russia's permanent UN Security Council said was effectively empty as no one in the world wants to hear Russia lies. Having urged the body to reform the veto power, the president has further told Ukrainians that up to 11 regions of the country had been plunged into complete darkness. With over 30,000 cases, China's daily COVID tally has hit a record high, although numbers are relatively small when compared with China's vast population of 1.4 billion. Under Beijing's strict zero-COVID policy has caused fatigue and resentment among the many areas of the population, sparking sporadic protests and hitting productivity in the world's second-largest economy. More rescuers and volunteers have been deployed in devastated areas on Indonesia's main island of Java to search for the dead and missing from an earthquake that killed at least 271 people. The death toll was likely to rise, with many people still missing, some remote, devastated areas still unreachable, and more than 2,000 people injured in Monday's 5.6 magnitude earthquake. 10 days after 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death in their rooms, police have said that they still have not identified the suspect and found a murder weapon, and they continued asking for tips and surveillance videos. As the family members of the victims still await justice, police authorities continue to promise that they are doing their best for a breakthrough. The alleged shooter facing possible hate crime charges in the fatal shooting of 5 people at a Colorado Springs gay nightclub was ordered held without bail. In an initial court appearance on Wednesday, as the suspect sat slumped over in a chair. Extending apology, suspect's father has said that there is no excuse for the going and the killing of people. The World Health Organization's European director spoke out against Russia's strikes on Ukrainian healthcare facilities as he toured several hospitals in the city as well. China's expanding virus lockdowns, including in a central city where factory workers clashed this week with police as a number of COVID-19 cases hit a daily record. Workers in parts of Beijing were loudly building metal barricades to keep people in their apartment complexes. People can only be seen going out to buy food or get medical treatment. When coming or going almost anywhere, people need to show and scan their health QR codes. The National Monetary Fund has asked China to ramp up its COVID-19 vaccinations while stressing the need to recalibrate the strategy to deal with the virus to address challenges arising from the property sector. Showing and the slowing global demand, and this recommendation came just after an annual review of China's economic policy, which saw virtual discussions between IMF and the several senior policy officials on reform progress and challenges and policy responses. Indonesian President Joko Widodo said that the focus for rescuers would now remain on finding dozens of people who are still missing from Monday's earthquake that killed at least 271 people. He has stated that steep conditions, rain, aftershocks, and an unstable ground were making search efforts difficult in the mountainous district. Wales striker Kiefer Moore opined about the Iranian players not singing the national anthem as a sign of protest for the current political situation in their country.
Yeah, it's we all believe in stuff, and it's something they've believed in and believe strongly to represent as a nation. That's a credit to them.
The trials are over at the APP World Tour event, and the world pros got to show off their skills for real. A new men's and women's world champion will be announced soon.
Today is I advance to next round 3. Good waves. I like this wave. Same in my city, Santos. It's right, a good ride. I like this. Keep going to next round to advance.
The Arizona Cardinals have now fired offensive line coach and run game coordinator Sean Kugler. Cardinals have not confirmed the dismissal, but the coach was no longer listed on the team's website.
Yeah, obviously he's been relieved of his duties, as you've seen, but out of respect to the ongoing process, it's really limited on what I can say, and so I'll just leave it with that.
Dutch midfielder Davy Klaassen says he's backed Germany following their protest during the team photo ahead of their World Cup match with Japan.
I think it's a nice variation on the armband. I think it's a good statement, a statement that we share with the 7 countries, and yeah, I think it was a good way to do it.
Terry Rozier scored 9 of his 22 points in the final 5 minutes as the Charlotte Hornets now rallied past Philadelphia 76ers 107-101 on Wednesday night in a matchup of injury-riddled teams.
Set his man up nicely to go back.
Kyrie Irving did not shy away from praising Ben Simmons' current form. He added that according to him, Ben is currently the best shooter in the world.
Stats prove it right now. He's best in the world, best shooter in the best league in the world right now. So, we just want him to remain confident and shoot the opportunities that he gets out there. He makes the game a lot easier for us, and when you have guys that are willing to sacrifice their body night to night, you want to reward them, especially when they're shooting the ball well.
Jose Mourinho said Japan's stunning 2-1 victory over Germany in the World Cup opener was not a crazy surprise because he believes the current crop of European players are focused too much on the individual and not the team.
I think at this moment in European football there is a big focus on the individual, a big focus on egos, and when I look to your profile as people, your profile as country, I never coached Japanese players, but I coached Asian players. In my case, I was lucky because I coached the best Asian player. And I understand that the mentality is really special. It's really, the team is the most important thing. People plays for the team, they don't play for themselves.
Panthers took advantage of 7 power play chances by scoring 3 goals with a man advantage, including 2 in the second period, and beat the Prince 5-2. Williamson had a season-high 32 points along with 11 rebounds, and the Pelicans never trailed while handling the Spurs their 6th straight loss, 129-110 in last night's game. And USA and Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner has termed England as favourites to elevate the FIFA World Cup trophy in Qatar. USA are set to lock horns with England of their Group B match on November 26th.
Look forward to the chances to compete against your peers. Obviously friends off the field, and then when you get onto the pitch, it's full focus for 90 minutes. Some very talented players on the team, favorites to win the tournament. So it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to take tremendous focus, but we're looking forward to it.
केजरीवाल जी ने इस बार हिंदू कार्ड प्ले करने की कोशिश की।
कोई किसी भी कार्ड को प्ले करे, भारत की जनता और विशेषकर गुजरात की जनता इतनी भूली भाली नहीं है कि 1-2 टोचकों से या 1-2 स्टेटमेंट से किसी और बह जाए। अरे भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी तक हमने कहा था कि हम 370 धारा को जब भी हमें मौका मिलेगा हटाएंगे। एक देश में 2 निशान, 2 प्रधान, 2 विधान नहीं चल सकते, और हमने हटाकर दिखाया।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की बात आपने जो उठाई, 3 राज्यों में क्यों, राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर क्यों नहीं?
हमने कहा था कि हम इस देश में कॉमन सिविल कोड की पैरवी करेंगे, और अगर हम पावर में आते हैं तो इसको लाएंगे। 1950 में कहा था, और आज कॉमन सिविल कोड के लिए भारत के 3 राज्यों ने इनिशिएटिव लिया है। एक चर्चा बहस छिड़ी है, तो कुछ ही समय में 3 राज्यों में कॉमन सिविल कोड आपको दिखाई पड़ेगा।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed the jailed Minister Satyendra Jain in these pictures, given food of his choice. In the application, he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal murder. Keshav, who is just 25 years of age, was a drug addict, has murdered 4 of his family members.
According to the information that has been provided by police PRO, that it was a mass shooting that happened in a Virginia Walmart, and according to the information that it's multiple people have been reported dead.
That matter was related to some clash about forest timbers. We have ordered a judicial inquiry. We have also referred the matter to the investigation by a CBI or NI. Compensation has been announced. Person responsible has been put under suspension. But just to clarify, that has nothing to do with border, the way it is reported in national media. It was a basically clash between the villagers and police regarding certain forest timbers.
There was talk between you and Meghalaya. Do you think it will hamper this?
It has nothing to do with border. This was not the clash relating to the border, and I don't think that it has anything to do with the border talks. गृह मंत्री जी खुद यहाँ आई ना हमारा अनुष्ठान में।
Huge fires erupted at an oil field in northeast Syria after they were targeted by Turkish airstrikes in Catania on Wednesday.
In J&K, the multi-location raids which are taking place in several locations, and these raids, we are told, are linked to terror funding. The cylinder blast which has been reported, which has claimed lives of 2 people, which includes a 35-year-old woman as well as her 3-year-old child in Ooch district.
चुनाव प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। पिक्चर क्या लग रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है। 1990 के बाद गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भी चुनाव नहीं हारी है।
2002 में 127 सीटें मिली थी।
हम इससे
आप कह रहे हैं 2002 के नंबर को आप क्रॉस करेंगे इस बार?
जरूर, इससे ज्यादा सीटें।
मीडिया सर्कल्स में बातचीत चल रही है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर। क्या आम आदमी पार्टी एक फैक्टर है इस बार?
मीडिया में जरूर है। गुजरात में जब मैं 50% से ज्यादा मत प्राप्त कर रहा हूँ तब वोट कितना और कहाँ बढ़ता है इसके कोई मायने नहीं रहते। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार 50% से ज्यादा वोट प्राप्त करने जा रही है।
कांग्रेस का प्रभाव कम हो रहा है, कांग्रेस की इंपैक्ट कम हो रही है, और वो जो वैक्यूम है वो कौन उसको फिल करेंगे?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी फील कर सकती है। हर बार जनता ऑल्टरनेटिव नहीं ढूंढती है।
आप कह रहे हैं कि आपकी फाइट कांग्रेस पार्टी के साथ। कांग्रेस को प्रिंसिपल ऑपोजिशन क्यों कह रहे हैं गुजरात?
क्योंकि वो है। मैं स्पेकुलेशन के आधार पर तो नहीं कर सकता। जमीनी हकीकत में वो है।
केजरीवाल जी ने इस बार हिंदू कार्ड प्ले करने की कोशिश की।
कोई किसी भी कार्ड को प्ले करे, भारत की जनता और विशेषकर गुजरात की जनता इतनी भूली भाली नहीं है कि एक दो टोचकों से या एक दो स्टेटमेंट से किसी और बह जाए।
हटलोडिया सीट के रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल।
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूं कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूं कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
CCTV footage that we have now accessed, the jailed Minister Satyendra Jain in these pictures given food of his choice. In the application he had said that he's not been given food.
The national capital Delhi was once again rocked by a brutal murder. Keshav, who is just 25 years of age, was a drug addict, has murdered 4 of his family members.
According to the information that has been provided by police PRO, that it was a mass shooting that happened in a Virginia Walmart, and according to the information that it's multiple people have been reported dead.
National Investigation Agency has taken the custody of Lawrence Bishnoi in the case that was registered by the agency with regards to gangster and their nexus that is operating and targeting the high-profile personalities in Punjab and other parts of the country. Today morning, the teams of the NIA reached the Bathinda jail and took the custody of Lawrence Bishnoi. It is expected that Bishnoi will now be taken to New Delhi for the further investigation. This case was registered by the National Investigation Agency after the killing of Sidhu Moosewala and recent incidents wherein the gangster networks have emerged, that how on the behest of ISI and other foreign powers they are carrying out killings in Punjab and other parts. Over 100 locations have already been raided by the National Investigation Agency in the subsequent raids that have happened after the case was registered, and now Lawrence Bishnoi has been taken into custody by NIA. With Sir Jeevan Kumar, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network.
Let's get you a quick check of our top stories at this hour. The patriarchal and sexist diktat by Jama Masjid. It says single women not allowed to pray inside.
seen a woman going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
Women's right to protest is blocked by the Jama Masjid. There is a uproar over the move. The women say, why don't we have the right to pray? Indian Army sacrifices mocked and insulted and justified as the Bollywood actor Richa Chadha now is facing a boycott call. She is forced to apologize. Sensational details emerge as the Mangaluru blast probe now gets bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency possibly used to fund these blasts in Karnataka. The Shraddha murder probe widens. Killer Aaftab's polygraph test is underway as we speak. And this is MNS hooliganism that is caught on camera. Hotel manager is slapped for not playing Marathi songs. A very good afternoon and thank you for staying with us here on Republic. First up, we are putting our focus on what's happened in Gujarat. Remember, there's a lot of politics, yes, but also considerable amount of seizures. This is actually something that happens close to every election. An investigation now into this cash that has been seized from the Congress party vehicle in Surat is being conducted as we speak by the Income Tax and the Enforcement Directorate now. Republic has accessed the CCTV footage of BN Sandeep, who's seen running away from the spot. We'll just put that out on the screens also in a bit, where you see the car that has also now been seized. So that is BN Sandeep. You see him marked there in that CCTV footage that has been accessed by Republic. Now what the Congress says is that this car did not belong to them. There were at least 75 lakh rupees that have been seized from the car of the Congress party. So what do we know about the story? What will happen? Let's quickly connect with Priyanka, who's tracking that story for us live right now. You know, Priyanka, close to every election, you will see that there is a lot of seizure that the agencies do. But this is a visual proof that actually has been caught on camera. We see that man running away. We are given to understand that he was running away from a car that actually belonged to the Congress party. Now, what is it officially that we know about the case, about the man, about the amount of cash that has been seized and the investigation so far?
That's right, Deepthi. Running away and how? Because we see that CCTV footage that has in fact come out in this particular incident day before yesterday in the night, in the wee hours of the morning. In fact, we had seen that the Election Commission's STT that does the survey to find out if there are any MCC violations in the state, since there is a moral code of conduct that has been implemented. Since it's just days before the elections, we are seeing that they had seized this car. So there was a car that had been found with the MH number plate, in fact, of a Congress leader who had about 75 lakhs in his car, and that is the leader that we see in the CCTV footage running away from the authorities. Now this CCTV footage is in fact just a few meters away from the spot where the car had been seized by the Election Commission and by the other authorities as well, who then later on went on to chase BM as well. The Congress leaders, there were three leaders, in fact, we were being told, in the car, and the authorities had chased them. And since then, we are seeing that a massive controversy has also erupted, since the Congress party claiming that this is not their car, that this is not their cash. But we do see that there were pamphlets of the Congress party, that there were other posters of the Congress party inside of the car and also stuck on the windshield of the car as well. So that, of course, also bursts the theory of the Congress party claiming that this is not their car, and also authorities have now shared with us that this is a point of concern for them, since this car had been seized on the day, remember Deepthi, day before yesterday, in fact, when Rahul Gandhi had come to Gujarat, he had come to Surat specifically, and that's where this car in fact had also been seized from. So what really was this cash being used for is something that the authorities are going to also be looking into. But for the time being, we do see the CCTV footages as well that we have exclusively accessed that show how this leader had in fact fact been trying to flee the scene. He was trying to, jerk all responsibility to say that this was not his car, that this was not a car with the Congress party, that the cash inside of the car was not with the Congress party as well. So this is the kind of line that is being taken by the Congress party. But of course, we're being told that the authorities are going to be looking into this, and they're going to be trailing the cash as well to understand where this cash was being brought in from and what it was specifically and more importantly being brought in for. Yeah, Deepti.
Yes, Priyanka, I'll just take a moment to once more, go full frame on these images, because this is interesting. I think this is what viewers need to see, and perhaps we do not know whether the Congress will be even wanting to respond to these charges or not, but the BJP already is using this opportunity to hit out at Rahul Gandhi. Now, for a moment, let's keep our focus and the spotlight on this CCTV grab. Now, this is BM Sandeep. He's the National Secretary of the Congress, who purportely had come to collect 75 lakhs. So he was there to collect cash, Priyanka, worth about 75 lakhs. But he notices the police. He notices that there are cops. He possibly is under the radar. The reason why he decides to flee. And if you notice for a moment, Priyanka, he looks back. He turns around. He looks back. As if, he's sensing that he's being watched. He was under the radar. So there is that, element of guilt written all over this entire sequence that we are playing out. I want to now know from you, what is it that we've heard officially from the Congress? And where is this man right now? Is he being even questioned?
Well, we had seen Deepti for momentarily, in fact, when the Congress party leaders and also the driver who was in the car had been brought in, and they had been questioned, they had been detained, but then they had been let go of as well, is something that we're seeing. But there is a complaint and there is an investigation that is now being looked into by the income tax authorities and also by the enforcement directorate, in fact, who are going to be looking into the entire cash trail, the money trail, as to why this cash was being brought in to Surat. Because remember, Deepti, this is not really looking good for the Congress party. This comes in the backdrop of the kind of allegations that have been leveled by their very own candidates, where they have said that the president and the senior party leaders collect cash for tickets as well. And in the backdrop of that, we see that once again, that cash was being collected by, as you pointed out, by the Congress leaders as well. And there were national level leaders that had been present there in Surat. And of course, it also brings up the question as to the timeline of this event, since the car had been seized on the day that Rahul Gandhi had been in Surat. And not just Rahul Gandhi, he travels with several other top leadership of the Congress party from Delhi, and they were also there in Surat as well. So this is something that this is being in fact investigated as far as the money trail is concerned. But for the moment, the Congress party completely saying that this is not their car, this is not their cash, and they are completely being silent on this entire matter. And of course, very rightly you pointed out, Deepti, the signs of guilt are on there and the CCTV footage as well. We can see that the Congress leaders captured in that CCTV footage as well, looking over their shoulders, running away from the authorities, and we have seen how authorities had also been chasing them. So this is kind of the scenario that has happened the day before yesterday, wee hours of morning, in fact, when this cash had been seized by the authorities, and of course Income Tax and Enforcement Directorate are going to be looking into the same.
All right, so Battle of Gujarat, they're actually at a very, very critical stage, Priyanka, and a lot of loose ends, a lot of unanswered questions, and we trust you to keep us ahead, and let's see if the Congress party decides at all to respond to this big election controversy. What was this 75 lakh cash doing in that car? Did that car belong to a Congress neta? Why was this man in charge of the Congress party running away? For the moment, Priyanka, I thank you for breaking those details for us as we move on now to get our viewers a quick check of more stories that we are tracking at this hour. The Delhi High Court has issued a notice to Vijay Nair and a Hyderabad-based businessman, Abhishek Boinpalli. This is on a CBI plea, challenging a trial court order granting them bail. Now, do remember, both of them are key accused in the Delhi liquor scam controversy. The Prime Minister lauded the Goa government in its step towards providing jobs to the youth via distribution of appointment letters to the new recruits. The Prime Minister said that this step will strengthen the Goa police further, enhancing the convenience of the people, especially tourists. Lieutenant General Asim Munir has now been appointed and named as the new Chief of the Army Staff of Pakistan. This, remember, is ending weeks of intense speculation and political tussle that you've seen in the neighboring rogue state of Pakistan. General Bajwa is slated to retire next week after a 3-year extension. To Jammu and Kashmir now, where the SIT has conducted raids in Kishtwar area of Jammu and Kashmir. These raids are in connection with the Pakistan module of terror recruitment using cyberspace and providing logistical support to terrorists. The J&K police, along with the SIA, the CRPF and the army were all part of these raids. Telangana Minister Malla Reddy has been booked for snatching laptop, mobile phone and other evidences from an income tax officer. Now on Tuesday, the income tax officials had conducted raids at various locations, including the residence of the State Minister Malla Reddy in Secunderabad. An incident of firing upon a woman was reported in Murlipura police station. This is in Jaipur. The victim has been admitted to a hospital. Her condition is said to be stable. According to the Rajasthan police, a complaint has been filed against her in-laws. It has come to the knowledge that their relatives were possibly unhappy with the marriage. A huge package has been dropped in the Samba sector of Jammu and Kashmir via drone from Pakistan. This consignment was found in the Swankha area of Vijaypur. The security personnel rushed to the spot. They recovered IED, pistols, and also 9 packets of cash. The fugitive diamond merchant Nirav Modi has filed an application in the High Court in London, and he is seeking permission now to appeal against his extradition order in the Supreme Court. Do remember earlier he's lost an appeal on mental health grounds when a 2-judge High Court bench ruled that the risk of suicide was not such that it would be either unjust or oppressive to extradite him to India to face charges of fraud and money laundering in the PNB loan scam case. The High Court of Gujarat has pulled up the government. The court has said that the government needs to do a thorough check of all bridges and also to do a survey on the condition of the bridges in the state. They've also been asked to submit fitness certificates for the bridges, and the procedure for maintenance will also be filed before the High Court. A notice outside the Delhi's Jama Masjid has sparked a huge controversy, and according to the notice that you will just see on your screens in a moment, the entry of solitary women and women in groups is banned in the Jama Masjid. We head into a quick break right now, but on the other side, we keep our focus on this story. Look very, very closely at what's written and plastered there on the walls of the Jama Masjid. It makes it very clear that if you are a single woman or even a group of women, you are not allowed to come inside the Jama Masjid. On the other side, more reactions to that story. Also, these are sensational details that have emerged as the Mangaluru blast probe now gets bigger. Sources indicate cryptocurrency was used to fund these blasts.
झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके हैरत से ये आंखें अपनी सी दुनिया नई रंगी लागे ख्यालों की खिड़की से मन कूदे भागे झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके देख के दंग है छोटे बड़े सारे झाके रे झाके हर कोई ताके तरक्की को टुक टुक हर कोई ताके झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके
Reimagineering brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं, उन्होंने वादे इतने दिए हैं। गुजरात का बजट है 2,42,000 करोड़ और 3,72,000 करोड़ के वादे अब तक हो चुके हैं। और ये कह रहे हैं हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट पढ़ाएंगे। गुजरात में 1960 से प्राथमिक शिक्षा फ्री है। वोट देते वक्त सब लोग अपना माइंड भी अप्लाई करते हैं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी देखते हैं और विश्वसनीयता भी देखते हैं।
Huge number of government employees are on the street. There's a ruckus on the street. Their demand about increasing the DA. This is one of the important issues here in West Bengal.
A gruesome murder case of Shraddha. In fact, a video has now surfaced where the video is from those days.
Welcome back. You're with us here on Republic, and we are putting our focus now on a story that concerns all of us, because this once again reiterates what certain people believe that they can get away with. If you're a woman and if you want to get into the Jama Masjid and by luck you are alone, or even if you're a group of women, you cannot enter the Jama Masjid. There is no right to pray for you. There is no freedom of religion for you. In fact, what the Jama Masjid has done is that they've plastered that notice that you see on your screens, where entry of solitary women and even women in groups has been banned. This is coming after this order has been put out, and following this, the NCW chief, in fact the DCW chief, Swati Maliwal, has hit out, and she says that the decision to stop the entry of women in Jama Masjid is absolutely wrong. And before we get you reactions that have continued to come in on that big breaking story, let's also listen in to what we heard from the Jama Masjid itself justifying this ban.
The issue is concerned, whatever the Imam Sahib of the Jama Masjid has issued instructions regarding the people going to see or do prayer or offer namaz in Jama Masjid. It is as per the Shariat, and you all know, all people know that all places of worship are basically for worshipping, and masjid is also to offer namaz. So the sanctity of the masjid must be maintained, and whether it is a boy or girl, man or woman, whoever is visiting mosque, he or she must follow all the instruction, so that nobody have any objection in visiting mosque by anyone.
So before we get you more reactions, I'm told Nivedana joining us live right now from outside the Jama Masjid. Nivedana, I don't know what to say. I mean, should we be outraged? Should we be shocked? Should we be ashamed? Should we be embarrassed? Or should we be just plain simple angry? Because not the very first time that you have a religious institution, you have the Jama Masjid there, telling you and me what we need to do. So unless, you're accompanied by a man, you cannot step inside Jama Masjid. Why?
Absolutely, Deepti. Now, as you're pointing out that as well, remember this is at a time when Muslim women also have been fighting for their rights across the world. In fact, we'd also seen that anti-hijab protests as well. But talking about the notice that's been put, this is exactly where I'm reporting from, gate number 3. You can see the notice that's been put out here in Hindi, which says Jama Masjid mein ladkiyan ladkiyon ko ka akele dakhla mana hai. So this is the particular notice which has been put out right here, which of course is also pointing out in a sense the misogynist viewpoint as well. But on the other hand, when we're talking to certain people over here as well, a lot of young voices did go on to mention that why is it that only the women are being pointed out, because there were some concerns. In fact, I'm actually joined in by Salman Qureshi, who is the RWA Secretary of Jama Masjid, who's joining us live over here, where he believes that at this point of time the notice that has been put out here is absolutely justified. So Salman Qureshi, talk to us about the fact that in your opinion, you're justifying the fact that this notice over here is correct.
बेसिकली वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस लाइन फर्स्ट। बेसिकली अगर मैं आपसे बात करूं कि यहाँ पर रील्स बनाई जा रही थी, वीडियोस बनाई जा रही थी और मस्जिद की कहीं ना कहीं बेहुरमती हो रही थी। किसी भी रिलीजियस प्लेस पर आप बेहुरमती करेंगे या डिसरिस्पेक्ट करेंगे उसको, तो वो ठीक नहीं है। हमने इमाम साहब से इस बारे में बात की थी और हमने कहा था कि यहाँ पर लोग नाच गाना कर रहे हैं, इसको जो है वो मतलब पॉइंट जो बना दिया, नेगेटिव इमेज जा रही थी जामा मस्जिद की, और उस पर जो सवाल उठ रहा था वो कहीं ना कहीं इमाम साहब पर और इमाम साहब की टीम पर ये सवाल उठ रहा था कि क्यों कपल्स यहाँ करके पर्सनल हो रहे हैं, यहाँ आके नाच गाना कर रहे हैं। एक धार्मिक स्थल है और यहाँ की रिस्पेक्ट होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो जब हमने उस बारे में इमाम साहब से बात की तो इमाम साहब ने बताया कि हमने बाकायदा यहाँ पर एक टीम अपॉइंट कर रखी है जो इस तरह की एक्टिविटियों को रोकता है, और साथ ही साथ हम लोग वक्तन फ़वक्तन अनाउंसमेंट भी करते हैं कि इस तरह की एक्टिविटी को ना किया जाए। तो जब हमने इमाम साहब से ये बात कही कि देखिए हिंदुस्तानी नहीं विदेशी सैलानी भी जो है वो जामा मस्जिद में आते हैं और उनको एक नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट वो जाता है।
बट द पॉइंट बीइंग कि अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि सोशल मीडिया का यूजेज है और टिकटॉक वीडियोस बनाते हैं, तो व्हाई इज इट दैट ओनली लड़कियों के लिए मेंशन किया जाता है? सोशल मीडिया इज यूज्ड बाय बोथ genders. Even if your objection is the fact that these videos are being made here, at the fact that it is in some sense that this is of course a move that you do not appreciate within a religious place like this. But the fact of the matter is that why is it that only women have been singled out, and especially with the fact that it is single women and women in groups.
बेसिकली ये जो लाइन लिखी गई थी उसका मकसद समझना बहुत अहम है, बहुत ज़रूरी है। जैसे मैंने आपसे बताया कि जब इस पर सख्ती हुई तो जामा मस्जिद के काफ़ी सारे गेट्स हैं, तो होता क्या था कि एक गेट से लड़की आ गई, दूसरे गेट से लड़का आ गया, और फिर दोबारा यहाँ पर रील्स और वीडियो और टिकटॉक और बेशर्मी और बेहयाई जो है वो मस्जिद के अंदर फैलाना उन लोगों ने शुरू किया। तो इसी वजह से इमाम साहब ने और टीम ने एक मैसेज देने की कोशिश।
बट कुरैशी साहब, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि एक जेंडर को क्यों रूल आउट किया जा रहा है? अगर आपने अभी पॉइंट आउट किया कि फॉरेन नेशनल्स भी यहाँ आते हैं बिकॉज इट इज़ अ टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शन, इनफैक्ट वी कैन सी राइट हियर इन आवर विजुअल्स एज वेल, तो आप कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे कि हु इज अलाउड एंड हु इज नॉट अलाउड एट दिस पॉइंट?
दरअसल डिसअलाउ किसी को नहीं है, सबसे पहले हमें समझना पड़ेगा, और उस लाइन के अंदर करेक्शन की रिक्वायरमेंट है, उस बारे में हम इमाम साहब से बात करेंगे और हम कहेंगे कि इस लाइन के अंदर ये बात क्लियर कर दी जाए कि कोई भी बेहयाई या डिसरिस्पेक्ट या बेशर्मी जो है वो मस्जिद के अंदर ना हो, चाहे वो लड़का हो या लड़की हो।
पर इशू जो वहाँ पे लिखा गया है वो लड़कों के लिए कुछ लिखा नहीं गया है, और अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि यू आर गोइंग टू बी सेटिंग अप अ कमिटी जो इस तरह के चीज़ें को नहीं अलाउ करेगी, तो देन व्हाई इज इट रूलिंग आउट? द सिंगल क्वेश्चन ओवर हियर इज व्हाई आर वुमेन बीइंग ओनली स्टेटेड इन दैट नोटिस?
जैसे कि मैंने आपसे बताया कि इस लाइन के अंदर करेक्शन की रिक्वायरमेंट है और मैं उसी को आपको ब्रीफ कर रहा हूँ कि ये
आप मानते हैं कि दोनों जेंडर्स के लिए लिखना जाना चाहिए था?
बिल्कुल वो कहीं ना कहीं करेक्शन की उसमें रिक्वायरमेंट है, और हम इमाम साहब से इस बात को कहेंगे तो वो उसको कंसिडर करेंगे, क्योंकि हमने ही कहा था कि यहाँ जिस तरह की एक्टिविटी हो रही है और यहाँ के मैसेज वायरल हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि देश भर में नहीं पूरी दुनिया के अंदर जो है यहाँ के मैसेजेस वायरल होते हैं, यहाँ की वीडियो वायरल होती हैं, और ये देखा जा रहा था कि सिर्फ देश के लोग ही नहीं, यहाँ तक कि विदेशी लोग भी जो है यहाँ पर हमारे देश के लोगों को देख करके नाच गाना कर रहे हैं और वो टिकटॉक बना रहे हैं। तो एक गलत मैसेज जो है वो वर्ल्ड वाइड जा रहा था, क्योंकि हमारे देश की धरोहर है जामा मस्जिद जो है वो हमारी देश की धरोहर है, और हम सबका ये फ़र्ज़ बनता है कि अगर कुछ इस तरह की एक्टिविटी हमारे जामा मस्जिद के अंदर हो रही है तो उसको रोका जाए।
ठीक है, आप बेसिकली बता रहे हैं कि जो टिकटॉक वीडियो से आपको ऑब्जेक्शन था उसके लिए ये नोटिस किया जा रहा है, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ आप बोल रहे हैं कि आपको लगता है कि ये डेफिनेटली गलत है कि सिर्फ विमेन को इसमें डाला गया है उस नोटिस में, एंड आप बोल रहे हैं कि ये नोटिस को चेंज किया जाएगा।
जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि इसमें करेक्शन की रिक्वायरमेंट है और वो इमाम साहब से हम बात करेंगे, टीम से बात करेंगे, और हमें उम्मीद है कि जब हमारे कहने पर उन्होंने सख्ती शुरू करी, हमारे कहने पे ही तो, क्योंकि यहाँ पर होता क्या था कि ज़िम्मेदार लोगों के पास ही इस तरह के मैसेज जाते हैं, और हम जब देखते हैं कि हम खुद जामा मस्जिद पर रहते हैं और इस तरह के मैसेज जो है वो वर्ल्ड वाइड जा रहे हैं, तो हमें ठेस पहुँचती है, क्योंकि इस्लाम जो रिलीजन है वो महिलाओं को बहुत रिस्पेक्ट करता है, और वो इसलिए मैंडेटरी नहीं करता महिलाओं को कि आप मस्जिद में आकर नमाज अदा करें, जबकि मैंडेटरी जो है वो मेल्स को किया गया कि आप मस्जिद आएँ और नमाज को अदा करें, जबकि महिलाओं को ये छूट दी गई कि आप अपने घर में भी नमाज को अदा कर सकते हैं, मगर डिसअलाउ किसी को नहीं है। फिर मैं आपको बार बार ये क्लियर कर देना चाहता हूँ।
हम ठीक है, thank you Krushi sir for talking to us. Well, Deepti, you know, on one hand, of course, the notice clearly states that single women or women in groups are not allowed. But Salman Qureshi was currently in conversation with us. The RWA secretary is saying that on one hand, he is pointing out with the fact that this issue was raised because of the fact they believe that objectionable, usage of TikTok videos was being made inside this religious place. But like we asked him, why is it that only one gender was singled out? He says right now that they are going to be correcting that notice. They do believe that at one point it's a mistake, but that of course only time is going to tell if they're going to be changing that particular notice, Deepti.
देखिए, मस्जिद अल्लाह का घर है, मस्जिद इबादत की जगह है। खाना काबा के अंदर औरतें आती हैं, अब्बा हिजाब आती हैं, और मस्जिदें शबी हैं खाना काबा की, अल्लाह के घर की। मगर जो इमाम साहब ने यानी जनाब अहमद बुखारी साहब ने जो बयान जारी किया है और जो मेरे इल्म में आया है कि लड़के और लड़की अकेले आते हैं और आके वो वहाँ मस्जिद के अंदर सेल्फ़ी लेते हैं और मस्जिद के अंदर घंटों बैठे रहते हैं और प्यार और मोहब्बत की बातें किया करते हैं। तो मस्जिद अल्लाह का घर है। जो उन्होंने इसके अंदर बयान दिया है कि अपने वालिदैन के साथ आएँ, अपने बुज़ुर्गों के साथ आएँ, नमाज़ पढ़ने आएँ, ये बात बिल्कुल सही है। मैं इसकी भरपूर तरीके से तायीद करता हूँ कि मस्जिद के अंदर इबादत के वास्ते आना चाहिए। मंदिर हो, मस्जिद हो, गुरुद्वारा हो, चर्च हो, सिनेगाग हो या इमाम बाड़ा हो, कोई भी जगह हो, यहाँ के ऊपर आदमी मन की शांति के लिए आता है। यहाँ के ऊपर अगर इस तरीके से एक तफरीगाह बन गई तो उसका तकद्दुस, उसकी पवित्रता जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी। और जहाँ की पवित्रता और जहाँ का तकद्दुस पामाल हो गया, फिर वो इबादत खाना नहीं रहता।
Huge fires erupted at an oil field in northeast Syria after they were targeted by Turkish airstrikes in Catania on Wednesday.
In J&K, the multi-location raids which are taking place in several locations, and these raids, we are told, are linked to terror funding. The cylinder blast which has been reported, which has claimed lives of 2 people, which includes a 35-year-old woman as well as her 3-year-old child in Ooch district.
सीट के रैली में आपने एक कमेंट की, द्वारका में इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शंस हुए हैं, उसको डेमोलिश करने के लिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं। इसकी बैकग्राउंड में कई लोगों ने कहा कि एक समुदाय को टारगेट किया जा रहा है।
द्वारका देश भर के करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र है।
बिल्कुल।
देश में किसी भी जगह पे, विशेषकर दरियाई सीमा के द्वीप पर अगर इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट होते हैं और इलीगल एंक्रोचमेंट रिलीजियस बेसिस पर होते हैं तो और बड़ा खतरा है। मैं अभी भी कहता हूं कि मैं गुजरात सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री और गुजरात सरकार के गृह मंत्री अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूं कि बड़ी दृढ़ता के साथ ये सफाई इन्होंने की है।
सुरक्षा के मुद्दे पर एक सवाल मेरा ये है कि जो आपने आइडियोलॉजी की बात कही और आप गृह मंत्री है देश के, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो आईसिस आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी वाले लोग हैं, इस पर और क्या किया जा सकता है, इसको बिल्कुल इस प्रॉब्लम को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए?
आईसिस की आइडियोलॉजी हो या जिहादी आइडियोलॉजी हो या पीएफआई पहले जो अपनी प्रवृत्तियां करता था वो, जिस दिन कोई भी विचार, कोई भी संगठन, कोई भी गतिविधि इस देश की इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए खतरा बनेगी, इसको हम सहन नहीं करेंगे और बहुत दृढ़ता के साथ इसको क्रश करेंगे।
जो नया ट्रेंड बना है, ये प्रॉमिस करेंगे फ्री नौकरी, फ्री। मुझे कहता है लैमिनेटेड कार्ड बांटे जा रहे हैं गुजरात में। किसी ने कहा आम आदमी पार्टी बांट रही है कि आपको गारंटीड नौकरी मिलेगी।
जो कार्ड बांट रहे हैं
afternoon. You're watching the news at 4 p.m. I'm Suesha Sawant, and our focus in this edition is the tweet that Richa Chadha had to delete after she faced a lot of backlash for insulting the Indian Army. But the big question in this edition, should she have refrained from putting out that tweet? Does this reflect her mindset? That and much more that we'll discuss in this edition. But first, a quick check of the headlines we're tracking. Patriarchal and sexist diktat by Jama Masjid. Single women's right to pray now blocked.
Ban a woman going to masjids, especially here in Jamia Masjid. So I don't think it's a good decision at all.
Women's right to pray blocked by Jama Masjid. Uproar over the move. Indian Army is sacrificed, mocked and insulted, and then justified as Bollywood actor Richa Chadha faced boycott call. She was forced to apologize. Sensational details emerge as Mangaluru blast probe gets bigger. Sources say cryptocurrency used to fund blasts in Karnataka. Shraddha murder probe widens. Killer Aaftab's polygraph test underway. MNS hooliganism caught on camera. Hotel manager slapped for not playing Marathi songs. Yes, actor Richa Chadha, who was in the center of a big controversy this morning. Why? Because she put out a tweet. What was that tweet about? The Northern Army commander who put out the first tweet saying that the Indian Army is ready to take back POK. They're waiting for orders from the government and they can carry out a quick operation. To which Richa Chadha responded. 3 words that landed her in this big controversy where she said, Galwan says hi. She mocked the Indian Army. She insulted our martyrs, and that obviously did not go down well on social media, where she had to face a lot of criticism, for criticizing our martyrs. Then, after a while, she was forced to delete that tweet and put out an apology. She put out an apology saying that it was unintentional. 3 words that have been dragged into such a big controversy. And she also went on to say that her family has an illustrious background when it comes to the Indian Army. Her grandfather had taken a bullet in the Indochina War. Her uncle was a paratrooper. She feels what it is when a family loses a son who is martyred, and she is apologetic for that. This, remember, is bringing us to a lot of questions. Was it her mindset in the very first place, and after the backlash that she faced, she took back all those tweets? Lot of reactions that poured in on this, and of course, why is Bollywood still silent? Why aren't the biggies going on to condemn Richa Chadha? Listen in to the reactions that have come in so far.
बॉलीवुड फिल्मों की कोई एक्ट्रेस है रीचा चड्ढा, हम तो ज़्यादा जानते नहीं। मालूम पड़ा है कि हमारे सेना के बड़े अधिकारी ने एक ट्वीट किया कि पीओके हमारे भारत का अभिन्न हिस्सा है, हम उसे लेकर ही रहेंगे, ज़रूरत पड़ी तो कठोर कदम उठाएंगे, कड़ी कार्रवाई करेंगे पाकिस्तान पर, लेकिन पीओके लेकर रहेंगे। उस पर ये महिला कहती हैं कि गलवान सेज हाय, तंज कस रही है गलवान को लेकर। अरे तुम क्या जानती हो गलवान के बारे में? 1-1 इंच जमीन के लिए हमारे देश के जवान शहीद हो गए, और आप ऐसी भाषा का उपयोग कर रही हैं कि गलवान सेज हाय। मैं मांग करता हूं महाराष्ट्र के उप मुख्यमंत्री और गृह मंत्री श्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी से कि ऐसी महिला पर, ऐसे कलाकार पर तुरंत कार्रवाई करें। इतना जहर आप भारत के खिलाफ लाते कहां से हैं? इतनी कड़वाहट भारत के खिलाफ लाते कहां से हैं? ऐसे कलाकारों पे पाबंदी लगनी चाहिए जो देश विरोधी ट्वीट करते हो और देश के खिलाफ काम करते हो।
These are the kind of reactions that poured in where she was asked to refrain from commenting if she does not understand what happened in Galwan in depth. She was clearly targeted for insulting the Indian Army, insulting our martyrs, after which she was forced to delete that tweet. She made a U-turn now and she said that 3 words have been dragged into such a controversy. She went on to add to this tweet saying that her family members come from the Indian Army. Her grandfather had taken a bullet in the Indochina war. Her uncle is a paratrooper. She also said that she feels what it is like for the families of martyrs. She said that it was totally unintentional. She apologized for hurting sentiments, but was deleting that tweet was an apology enough? Should she not have put out that tweet in the first place? And why comment on Galwan if she did not know enough? Listen into the other reactions that have come in.
फिल्म जगत की अभिनेत्री सुर्खियों में आने के लिए, ओछी पब्लिसिटी पाने के लिए क्या वो हमारे फौजी भाइयों का अपमान करेगी? इन्हें हो क्या गया है जो हमारे जवान अपने परिवार को, बच्चों को, माता पिता को छोड़कर दिन रात देश की सीमा पर खड़े हैं, हमारी रक्षा कर रहे हैं, समय आने पर अपनी जान की शहादत देश के लिए दे देते हैं। उनका तो मस्तक झुका करके उनका सम्मान होना चाहिए। एयर कंडीशन बंगले में बैठकर इस प्रकार की घिनौनी मानसिकता रखने वाली यह अभिनेत्री क्या समझेगी उनका समर्पण? सारा देश चाहता है कि वे हाथ जोड़कर हमारे देश के जवानों की माफी मांगे।
India and Indians respect the army and the armed forces. And when our chief of the army says something, we respect that. It's unfortunate that someone, for posting something on the social media, decides to mock the army. Is it correct? Do they even understand the valor that was displayed at Galwan by the soldiers who gave up their life fighting for the motherland? It's unfortunate and condemnable to come out with this kind of a post.
And remember, she has insulted the army. She has insulted our martyrs. She has insulted the family of martyrs. And most importantly, she has gone on to hurt sentiments of those who lay down their lives for the country. This brings us to the very set of basic questions of what was Richa Chadha intending to do, and does this reflect her mindset? Should Bollywood biggies now call out to the actor, and should they condemn what she did? She deleted the tweet, but does Richa Chadha even know what happened in Galwan? Does the tweet reflect her mindset? Is it that she should not have put out the tweet in the very first place if she did not understand Galwan in depth? Those are the very basic questions that are emerging at this point, as Richa Chadha still stands in the center of that big controversy. And remember, the very fact that she's deleted the tweet, but will film personalities break their silence on Richa Chadha's insult to the army? Why is it that Bollywood bigwigs are not standing up today? Why do they continue to be silent on these issues and be selective about where they want to hold placards and where they want to call out, where they feel it is an issue? Why aren't they standing with the army? Should those who know nothing about Galwan avoid making these comments? Should Richa Chadha not in the first place even have put out this tweet? 3 words that she wrote mocking the Indian army, insulting our martyrs, insulting all those families. And remember, some in the industry who have spoken. Let's listen into what Ashok Pandit had to say.
एक देशवासी होने के नाते मुझे लगता है कि हमारी ड्यूटी है कि कोई भी हमारे जो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस हैं, हमारे जवान हैं, हमारे पुलिस हैं, उनके खिलाफ कोई गंदा स्टेटमेंट कोई भी इशू करे या गलत स्टेटमेंट इशू करे, सिटीजन्स का फ़र्ज़ बनता है कि उसके अगेंस्ट सारी लॉफुल एजेंसीज को कंप्लेंट करें ताकि इनके अगेंस्ट एक्शन लिया जाए। एज अ सिटीज़न, भारतीय होने के नाते